Yo, V, my brother.
Yo, what's going on?
I don't know. I'm thinking here. I saw in the chat, Monkey Boy put a link to Hamsterden's live. I'm thinking about going up, but I don't know.
I just gotta get world abused.
Well, I'd prefer that. I don't know, man. I'd choke under pressure big time, but I'd love to talk to Hamsterden because I listened to him talk to Monkey Boy today when I was like studying, and the man was very
Monkey
lost.
Boy. Was Monkey Boy talking to him?
Yeah, no, and Monkey Boy was I'd say very generous because he spent a lot of the time just trying to recapitulate what he was trying to say, but Hamzadan kept going down the wrong route of just kind of concluding, well, I didn't believe that's the conclusion, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe this fallacy works. I don't believe this specific account works. And I think you should read this book, read this account. You're confused, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so Monkey Boy didn't. I mean, I think if I don't know what happened, maybe Monkey Boy can come up. But I just imagine if you pressure him enough, he's just gonna kick you out.
Things I don't, bro, you guys need to teach me your way of debating. I fold under pressure so fast. You guys need
Um,
to teach me how to debate.
I mean, everybody has pressure. I just think that maybe it was like a different setting or something. You went
No, bro,
there.
I mean, the moment people push back on me and ask questions, I will not sit there and say, well, can you answer mine first or anything of the sort. I will just get lost in their questions and then end up conceding at some point. It's bad.
Oh, I see. I mean, just like a muscle. Maybe just start doing it with like smaller lives and with like smaller people, and then but like you're bound to have more pressure when you go into like a call in like Hamza's Den than just like casual TikToks here. And also those people are like bullies, and they're mod abusers. So
Enough, fair
it's not.
enough.
I imagine.
I talked with him yesterday. I'm hoping to get views from the post, but he didn't do so well.
Uh,
Dude, I may just say fuck it and just go join Hamzaden's live. If I lose, I lose. I don't know.
I don't know. I have a headache. I don't really feel in the mood. Honestly, I'm not like by any means intimidated by mod abuse. I've went up on Precepts lives and got mod abused and still did it for content. And honestly, I don't even think I don't know him as well as maybe Venus, but he from what the conversation I had with him, especially because he was like praising me with how I like talked with this because he was in the queue for like 40 minutes and there was just two guests and he was like, man, like the first thing he was like, wow, you're really patient letting these people ramble incoherently and like just letting them get like talk for gross amounts of time. So I don't know. It seems that like given our past context, he'd be willing to like not do any muting. I don't know.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام. كيف حالك؟
الحمد لله عمو. عمو تسمح لي أقرأ قرآن لو سمحت؟
هذه غرفة إلحادية. نحن ليس مسلمين.
عمو جزاكم الله خير.
طيب. She just asked if she could read the Quran, and I was like, "This is like an atheist live. It's not. We're not Muslims."
Bro, what is this? This background is crazy, by the way.
What are you talking
What?
about?
It's Miami. What's his name? Miami or Florida Pete? What do you call him? And Omni Man with an
It's
atheist thing. Well,
Conquest.
kind of.
It's not Omni-Man, it's Conquest.
Oh,
Yeah, and
bro, I don't watch shows, bro. Fuck you guys. I don't watch any of this shit. My bad.
that's not the what is it called? The Beach Shore P or whatever. Yeah, that's
That's who I was talking about. Nah, that's him, bro. Same person. Don't lie.
no, they're the same person, but it's like Jekyll and Hyde.
Have you seen the teeth shit? Where like his teeth are like in exact alignment with what you saw in Epstein's teeth? Yeah, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that shit got me thinking.
Nah, I didn't. Have you seen the stuff with Jim Carrey? The conspiracy stuff with Jim Carrey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Jim Carrey one.
No, he's not. It's like an actor. He's like Jim Carrey has been like unalived by the Illuminati or something.
Oh, facts, bro, facts. It's always them. It's always Illuminati, bro.
There's one about Eminem as well, like Slim Shady.
I'd actually, if there was a conspiracy theory that he was like just doing whiteface this entire time, I'd believe it.
Bro, what? He
If
looks
you
white
told
and
me he was
sounds
black the entire time, I'd believe it.
white. Wow, how?
Don't make me justify that, or it's gonna get weird.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
does this
But after this
does
Venus,
this
you gotta
Hamza
talk
guy,
about
does he
Hamza.
go live every day?
I have no clue.
How did you find out he was live yesterday?
He was on my live. He joined my live, and for some reason now he's been appearing on my feed. I'm assuming because I talked with him.
Oh,
Or
he
no,
came
I
to
probably
your
it's because
live.
I searched his name after, because apparently people were saying he's popular. I saw that he had 180K,
Yeah,
but he's on a different account. He's on one with 50K, but he's still big on. He has multiple accounts with over like
I think he's
tens of
massive in the
thousands.
Dawa space. Yeah, but
His
like
YouTube
I've
has
seen,
almost 500,000.
he's been baked alive by many Christians before. I know. Fuck, I can't think of names. Watch like the
That's
massive
fine.
tag runner in the Orthodox community. What's his name? He went on Piers Morgan.
Jay
I
Dyer?
know Jack talked to
Jay
him
Dyer,
about
yes,
like
Jay Dyer cooked him alive.
infinities. Dyer cooked him.
Yeah,
I'm not confident that's true.
bro.
Like the sentence "Dyer won a conversation" doesn't even seem epistemically possible.
I think Dyer's won many conversations just on pain or rhetoric only.
Oh, that's not even what. Okay. But it would be true that he didn't win substantively, right?
Well, listen. I'm not even acquainted with philosophy or theology or anything of the sort. That's why I'm so worried to go talk to Hamza, but I might do it just for the sake of.
Just
Just
run
do it.
tag, brother. You know, it's like the correct.
Is it true that Moxie is that caked up person in the photo?
Which cake that person?
You didn't see the photo?
No, I haven't seen the photo.
You gotta look in the.
I don't think I've ever seen Jay Dyer win a debate.
That's true.
Well, he destroyed Detroyer.
You know the Detroyer one. I was asked to debate him initially, and I said no.
Do y'all reject God and worship a child molester?
What?
Why is there a child molester on the screen? Like, do y'all think y'all are funny or something? Like rejecting God, like, oh, I'm edgy and like atheist. Like, you're not cool, bro. Like, you're rejecting your creator and, you know,
Are you
trying to act
virtue
cool and edgy on this live because you're losers. And
signaling? Are you virtue signaling? Oh my god.
What the fuck was that?
So random.
Someone's insecure.
Yeah, I mean, I pray to conquest all day.
It's actually EbQuest.
With V, I have a question.
Something like that.
In the comments, you were in a live the day, and I was just yapping in the comments.
Which one?
What? I was I was yapping in the comments about the Akidas. Like, I said I'd hold to like the Ashariya Akida before anything else. Is
Oh,
there a
yeah.
specific like Akida if you accepted Islam? God forbid. What Akida would you accept?
Yo, Jack, talk about Hamas or
That's
Hamza, whatever.
That's a good question. I mean, they're all like nonsense. I don't know how to like measure the nonsense, but I don't think that the Ash'ari or the ADS stuff is like more sophisticated than just believing God has like hands and a six pack and he's like above a throne. Like I'm not like convinced of that.
Oh, I think the Ashari do a better job at explaining what it means when we say God has hands, because it's the Athari seem to just cop out on the claim. Well, it's insofar as His Majesty is capable of whatever the Majesty is conducive of, or whatever nonsense they invoke there. It's purely just appeal to mystery, whereas the Ashariya kind of push forth that like, well, these things aren't literal.
Yeah, but I'm saying like a literal God is not more nonsensical than whatever the Ash'aris have. In fact, I think like just a literal God makes way more sense than like absolute divine simplicity. I think that stuff is nonsense.
Like a literal God, including, let's say the predicate has hands, like has two right hands.
Yeah, like I think like some kind of a bizarre omnipotent being with like two right hands and a shin that sits on a throne makes way more sense than absolute divine simplicity.
Right, sits above
I don't
the
know.
throne.
I don't
The
know what
throne
it
was
means.
made uselessly.
Yeah, but I don't know what it means when they say essence is identical to existence and he's identical to all his attributes
Mhm.
and he knows through by knowing himself. I think that stuff is gibberish. At least I
So you'd
can make
more so
sense of
align with
it.
the Athari, like at least very strong Salafi account of the Athari.
At least I think the Zeus view, I can make like some sense of it.
How are you guys doing?
Wait, why isn't Jack joining? Oh, we're doing good.
Hello.
You guys want to hear
How are you?
something
How are
funny?
you?
Do we want
Okay,
to
I
hear
might
what?
go try to debate Hamza, so I'll catch you guys. It was nice seeing you.
I just
Please.
came from a debate. Somebody said that he could prove God exists in 6 questions, and I pretended not to know what a triangle was so I could waste 4 of his questions. And then he crashed out because he only had
Do you
one
normally
left.
talk like this?
I had testicular cancer when I was young.
Me too.
What
I,
does that have to do with what I? What?
You said, is my voice like that? Yes, it's pretty high because I used to have testicular cancer.
Me too as
So
well.
it never
I
really
get it. I have a
much
condition
better.
too.
I didn't know they're connected. My apologies.
I,
What is happening? But yeah, I mean, what's up, guys?
No,
Who did you make this background? Who actually made this background?
Moxie was always a theist.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, that's
Aren't
not
you?
true.
Aren't you
Why
like a
is,
crazy?
why is Jeffrey Epstein
You told me-
wearing
you told
wearing
me
yeah.
the
Why
other
did you
day-
use? Why did you use? Why did you use good old?
Good old
Wasn't he
Jeff.
Jewish?
What's wrong with
Was
this?
he like a well-known
This
Jew?
is internet. It's just dying each time.
His last name's Epstein, man. That's
Right, but,
that's as Jewish as it gets.
Well, Moxie, I thought you told me the other day you were like a cradle Catholic.
Oh no. Okay, you're right. You're right that I've been Catholic since my very first breath. Okay, but no. I mean, I think I took it more serious like now in my younger
Yeah, but like,
or older years.
yeah, so you were always a theist then. You just didn't take religion seriously.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what I thought of.
I never knew that.
Like, that's what I always thought.
Oh, it's because you're Mexican, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm surprised that isn't.
Well,
wasn't
the Mexicans are usually like.
I'm not
heretics.
Mexican, gang.
But like
You-
Mexicans are
You
You
usually
are
Does
like.
anybody have
Mexican in
any
my
jobs
eyes,
I could
brother.
take? Busco
Mexicans-
trabajo, mucho
I
trabajo.
picked down this ADHD kid. But you Mexicans are usually like heretics, right? You have like the Dia del Muerto, and what's her name? You have like a god, like some kind of like a skull goddess or something. Or you guys like worship and try to like reconcile with
To
Catholicism.
offer things. Yeah, that's true.
What are you, Jack?
I don't. Yo, Simon, fix
I'm
your
an
mic.
atheist.
He's a strong.
Oh, Jack, you should talk, bro. Talk to Hamza. He's live.
Who is Hamza again?
He's the one Muslim guy that like really popular that you talk to on Clubhouse for Ask Yourselves video. That you
What religion
explain,
are you,
like,
Jack?
The infinite regress stuff.
I'm an atheist.
Oh.
Oh, I talked to. Oh, Hamza's the guy that I talked to.
Hey,
It's the sniper guy.
Yeah.
It's the sniper guy.
Didn't you
That
meet the Simon guy? What the
guy,
hell?
This
That
guy's
guy
mic.
just he like abuses mods.
That's what I told Monkey Boy.
Well, I talked with him yesterday. I don't know. Try talking with him. I want to clip it because he's running this teleological argument that I mean it's not really good, but just for content because you've talked with him before, I wanna clip you talking with
I
him
can't
again.
do it right now because I'm late to be someplace.
Yeah. What about you, Venus? Because this live's not gonna go anywhere. I mean, you could start it back up after, but you should talk with him while he's live.
Like on his live?
Yeah.
But he's just gonna like abuse you when you go to his live. But if you get into your live, I'll talk to him.
Have you talked with him before?
No, but I've seen like Malpass and Jack talk to him. That was like horrible. Like when
Malpass I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah, when Malpass spoke to him, he just started telling Malpass to go read the Quran and asking him why he's never read the Quran when the topic was like about like actual infinites.
Bro.
But if you get into your life,
So you just evaded the question then, or just like...
Yeah, like what?
I didn't know that. I don't think I've seen him talk to Alex. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I want to see if that's
I think
recorded. I want to watch that.
it should be on Ask Yourselves channel.
Really? Well, I don't know if he's a mod abuser like that. I mean, he seems pretty old. Maybe he doesn't even know how to manage the mute button.
He's like the worst mod abuser you can come across. And he's like extremely dishonest. I was kind of surprised that he came to your life though. That was kind of like surprising.
Yeah, I could add him. I don't have him. I didn't follow him, but maybe I could follow him and convince him to join my live. If he's gonna mod abuse him, I don't know. I don't think it's worth entertaining that. But his argument's just literally that humans, we have background information. Humans design code. There's code found in biology, and therefore there has to be like a coder that supersedes humans that explains the code found in biologies.
Yeah, I fucking hate those kind of arguments.
Well, but I think it makes sense, right? Like, okay, assume that there's no asymmetry between need to explain who created technology. Yeah, I mean, you'd require.
I got him to concede that the instances of biochemical code are different than the code humans ordinarily produce. So he agreed that humans, we don't have background information of agents producing the types of relevant code that the teleological argument
requires. Or...
trying to forward has. We have background reasons designers do. But he additionally said that the only types of designers he's aware of are humans.
Oh yeah.
So then how do you get to disembodied minds, like non-human agents, especially that like one's so different?
I can see
someone
that.
like squirting mayo, or is that something
No,
else?
I'm just making dinner. There's actually cheddar. There was actually cheddar sauce. We're close enough.
Cheddar sauce?
Yeah, like cheddar
How's
cheese.
that?
Like cheddar cheese.
I never heard of that.
You don't know what cheddar cheese
He's
is?
talking about cheddar cheese.
Oh,
cheddar
Oh,
cheese.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
wow.
I wasn't even messing around. I actually thought you were talking about something different.
No, I thought. I thought me too. I thought you were talking about a way of pronouncing.
Cheddar cheese.
It's like a German word, I think. Maybe it's in English. I don't know.
It's a town in England. It's an English name.
Oh, it's an English name. Yeah. I thought it was like Gouda. Gouda is like supposed to be Danish, right? Gouda
I think
cheese.
Gouda is Dutch.
Or Dutch, yeah. Yo, Theosophical, you should join. Theosophical.
Was it Gouda, term Barracuda?
I love that song.
You want to talk with you've talked with that guy about fine tuning, because he's like an avid proponent of fine tuning on
Who?
like the TikTok space. Theosophical.
I've spoken to him about Thomism before. I was explaining to him.
Yeah, I seen that conversation.
Yeah. But do the people who run like the inductive argument for code, do they understand that when we say there's like code in biology, that's like a metaphor?
Yeah, it's an equivocation.
Yeah, it's like a metaphorical usage. Do they understand that? Or do they think that's literally we discovered like a language within DNA?
It's in C++.
Yeah, the best you can say is that it's something adjacent to code that we're familiar with. Maybe you even want to say it's a code of a different type. I mean, realistically, it doesn't even seem like it's proper to use code to capture it, but In any case, that type of code, quote unquote, as he already agreed, anyways. Because he started addressing that. I was talking with him, and he started reading the chat, and someone was saying that you're equivocating on code in our conversation.
Who was equivocating?
Hamza. Or, yeah, Hamza?
Oh
I
yeah.
almost keep saying Hamaz.
Yo! Damn, I died. Theism is not true because theism. No, sorry, I read it wrong. Atheism is not true because.
There was like so much good that came out today, by the way. It's like 2 episodes of The Boys, a new Invincible episode,
Really?
Classroom
I'm
of
not
the
a fan of the boys. I'm not gonna lie.
Classroom of the Elite. And
Oh,
then
Classroom came out?
Yeah, and then there's like 6 episodes out now of the new.
Really? Oh shit!
What?
Let's go.
Ain't no way I'm that behind. That's crazy.
And then Doro season 2 came out.
Dude, I actually love that.
You said
know-
Dora?
No,
Doro
the lizard guy with the.
The lizard anime.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I don't think.
Oh, that one is peak as well.
You just don't know. Yeah, exactly. You don't know peak. All you
Okay,
care
then
about
what
is
is it called?
ranking.
I'm actually watching JoJo's right now. I kind of dropped Monster. I gotta pick it back up.
You
I'm,
watching
like,
the
past
new
halfway?
The new season? There's only like 1 episode out, I think, or 2.
No, I'm still at Jotaro. So I'm
You're
actually
following.
just where they got to the mansion of Dio. So yeah, I'm really far behind. Hamza's high key confused.
Yeah, Hamza's like he's like a horrible moderator though. All of them are. There's also this other guy called Ijaz. Their arguments against Christianity are trash as well.
Yeah, I heard they get constantly baked by Christians.
Yeah, the Christian debaters are better than the Muslim. But the Muslims are kind of catching up. They're now employing like the analytic philosophy stuff too.
Wait, so who made this background? Did you like make this in an editor or what's going on?
No, I made this background.
It's so
That's
funny.
insane. Actually, the
Oh
same
my
person.
god.
This one was pretty good though. I was just watching.
Wait, you used ChatGPT? I tried to make a ChatGPT thing with Epstein, and I used it for a thumbnail, but which is going to be a new video you're going to probably see soon. But it didn't let me. I had to use a different AI source.
Was it like TOS or something?
Like Brooke?
Apparently, they recognize the big Steen. They don't allow them.
Why not? I mean, it's like a public. Well, I guess there's like you can't use people's faces or public figures' faces or something like that.
No, that's cap because I do that all the time. Well, not all the
Ooh.
time, but I've done it before.
Wow.
Yeah, I've used your face to cake you up even more.
Yo, Jack, do you know this Christian Catholic girl called Edith?
Edith?
It's not gonna be an
Yeah.
argument that makes me Christian. It's gonna be a girl. I'm telling you.
That's
What
that's
did you
not
ask?
something.
It's actually gonna be Moxie.
Do you know this Catholic girl named Edith?
I've heard you talk about her, but I haven't come across her yet.
Well, I spoke to her the other day. She's like PhD deep into like like paraconsistent logic, alternative semantics, inferentialism. But she used to be like Thomist, but she kind of like left Thomism.
Oh, we got Liam. This is the real one too. I had to make sure.
There you go.
Right back.
You know, last time Slurms fooled the whole panel thinking it was you.
Slurms is so funny, bro.
Liam
Oh
is
yeah,
the
he got it. He's the comedy master.
Monkey boy, were you watching my debate with Josh?
which joke?
Yeah, that had me dying. I mean, I didn't see I saw like the clip of you just raging rhetorically. I didn't actually know much about the topic. I saw that Zach posted it. I might like take a look, but I was laughing at what I heard. But I heard some people were saying that you were unreasonably rhetorical. I honestly don't know the context.
Oh well, yeah. I think the justification for the crash out is like not even in the clip. But basically, I was on this drive home from Austin. So it's like a 7-hour drive, so I'm just like driving, right? And I get a text from my friend Bridge. Someone's like, bro, someone's shitting on egoism. And like fucking the bat signal was fired. You know, I had fucking launched into action and joined this live stream, and I was listening. And Josh was debating Dubert on egoism. And the criticism was like, he said something like, egoism cannot account. Oh, sorry, it's so loud. What the fuck? Sorry. Something like, egoism cannot account for certain features as salient that we would otherwise find salient. And I was like, well, okay, like what the fuck? That's not true. And so then I walked up there and I was like, hey, just want to clarify, the criticism is there's features that egoism cannot identify as salient. He's like, yeah, that's why it's not taken seriously. It's not academic. All these like fucking statements about how philosophers view egoism. And I was like, okay, well, name some salient features it doesn't account for. And he was like, respecting people's autonomy and the harm of others. I'm like, egoism can account for those as salient. Like, what? And then he fucking backtracked. He's like, oh, no, it's about that those features are not explained as salient by the right principles. I'm like, whoa, that's way fucking different. And so this is like the unfitting objection. And then I explained, I was like, oh yeah, I mean, the unfitting objection could be explained away by just giving the motivations for egoism. And then this was the fucking ridiculous part. Then he was like, oh, it can't account for the fact that there are some aspects which are irreducibly good and bad. I was like, yeah, why would egoism have to account for the fact that there's an irreducible deontic norm not to violate the autonomy of others? Like, why would an egoist even believe you have to account for that? That was like insane. And I started running. I was explaining how he's like committing normative entanglement. It's like the point Lance Bush makes. I started explaining how he's equivocating between there's like this difference between foundational moral principles and procedural principles. Like, even if you're an egoist, that doesn't mean that you like confront most cases like thinking in terms of egoism. You might think in terms of virtues. Kind of the same way utilitarians will confront issues with rules instead of the greatest happiness principle. Anyway, but like the point is, like, he was trying to make all those statements about how this view is anti-academic, whatever. When instead, like, professional philosophers, virtue ethics is like the most popular view, and it's foundational egoist. So it's like the most popular view on earth. And then additionally, like he's like not even presenting egoism in an academic way while saying it's anti-academic. It just was an insane amount of just dishonesty. And then further the conversation, the guy like conceded that he wasn't even trying to demonstrate the falsity of egoism. He was just trying to sway the audience's emotions. He like conceded to being a sophist. I was like, bro, what? So yeah, I was screaming at him because I thought he was being dishonest, and he was being
It's not our Josh, right? It's not Flint's. It's not Flint's you're talking about.
It's a Josh who used to have the dog watermelon, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Josh. Yeah. It's friends with Ann. I don't know if maybe you even know this Josh Venus, but
No, probably not.
it's like in the abortion talk community.
Yo, Noella, join up.
What is the argument for atheism being true?
Are you familiar with the transcendental argument for atheism?
No, that's right.
If theism is true, then semantic internalism is true, but semantic internalism.
By semantic internalism,
God smited him.
God
Who said semantic internalism is false?
No, yeah, God couldn't let that guy
Yo, what is
finish
Jack
that
doing?
sentence. He's casually mugging.
Yeah. And then with Divinity, finish the argument.
Wait, is this the real Divinity?
No.
Is this the real Axioms 2 layer?
Real Divinity.
What does
Layer
I got
exist?
I got suspended. I had to go on a different account.
Yeah, what's your other account?
Fuck that.
Oh yeah, I
Theism.
recorded you.
My other account is.
Does anyone else have the argument?
Oh, Russell's back. Maybe you can get a round 2.
Do you think he has the argument written down?
He said he was gonna work on that. So,
Yo, Russell.
but knowing him, probably not.
I ain't gonna lie.
A minute ago.
If y'all got Russell like defending you, bro, that'd be not like.
Wait, who's
Bro's mumble rapping.
Does anyone have the argument in favor of the prop that atheism is true? Like,
Yeah.
what's the argument?
Yeah, I have it in my
transcendental
pocket
argument.
just here.
So what, Moxie?
A transcendental argument. You know, I don't have to reference God whenever I pose
What is this?
views of meaning, views of value, views of knowledge, views of truth. Views
What
of
is the
universals.
transcendental argument? Hello?
Sorry, I just gave you my argument. Do you have a
All I
response?
heard was theories of this, theories of that, theories of this, theories of that.
Well, I said it's a transcendental
It's the
argument where I don't-
transcendental argument for atheism.
Yeah.
Okay, so now actual for the argument for it, it just says theories of this, theories of that, theories of this, theories of that. How's that an argument?
It's a transcendental argument, so it's not deductive, right? So the point is that it grounds transcendentals like logic and reasoning, and in order to reason, you presuppose the existence of those entities.
Oh,
So
so
you're
it's
like-
not deductive.
Here's an example, right? Like,
You're not
if I have a
rationally
cake,
capable of utilizing those like philosophical
Now, what is the argument for
machinery
like,
without borrowing from my paradigm.
exactly.
Well, now, what is the motivation?
Here's
for
an example,
this
like for
false?
if you don't understand transcendental arguments, like
Are you gonna, like,
effectively, I'm
respond?
telling you, well, I'm explaining to you.
It's
Hush
it's
up.
worldview comparison.
I don't need further
Explain it to
explanation. I
Moxie.
understand what's being said. I'm asking you.
Really? Okay.
No,
what is
we
the
think you need it.
Now, what is the
Explain it,
argument
Moxie.
against?
Moxie,
Now, what is the argument against, like,
Calm
for
down.
example, like things like monotonicity and like Tarsian consequence races?
Wait, before we continue off with your, jibber jabber, like I just want, I want it to be very clear. You do understand necessary conditions, right? Or preconditions for something to exist, right?
Are you gonna respond?
I asked you a question.
You asked me a question, but I asked you a question. It's more like what you're saying. What's being said is like arithmetically invalid. Like I asked you a question, you asked me a question, response to the question. It doesn't like let me satisfy
Bro's
any like.
rapping right now.
Can you like slow down when you
As
speak?
possible.
So how are you speaking too fast?
This guy's rapping.
Now, what's being said here, the structure was being said is arithmetically invalid because it follow a QNX Q2 format. It
Look,
violates
if
the
you're not gonna
principle.
speak like normal. Like stop mumble rapping.
Okay. What's being said, the structure of the questioning is arithmetically invalid because it doesn't
Irritatically invalid.
Yes, it doesn't follow the Q1X Q2 format. So when I ask you a question, you ask me a
QXC.
question. Q and C.
XQC?
What is this guy talking about?
I don't know.
Dude, I
I
just
just
talked to
want to
Hamza.
flag that guy's Kaysen's student, so let's just, appreciate that fact before. Oh, you talked with him? Oh, I missed that. Damn.
No, I just talked to him right now. He's running the same argument, and I just mentioned that I'm an avionics engineer, and then he went down this route of code being identical, like to what I use in terms of MATLAB and CAD software, to that of DNA or something of the sort. And then after he kicked me, he said it's his fault that he didn't just mention that he just has to present his point and what motivates or justifies his point, and if I can't defeat it logically, then he's correct. That was his entire point, by the way.
Did he mod abuse or?
No, to be honest, he didn't mute me or anything, but it was a bit condescending, really. He kept saying, I can't believe I have to break it down this much, that kind of thing.
Oh, I feel less bad now for doing that.
He wasn't like that when I talked with him. He was like, I think your objection is not strong, but it's good, but it's not strong. Like he said that stuff and so.
Oh yeah, well he said he spent the day, because I did mention that I saw his talk with you, and he said he spent his day on ChatGPT, and he said your whole Texan sharpshooter fallacy was like misplaced big time on his argument, and that his argument functions, and he now has a way to beat it.
Yeah, but look, the difference is when he was nice, he was on Monkey Boy's live. When he was a mean, he was in his own live where he has mount. Which is
I
exactly
don't
what
think he was mean. I just think it was like condescending. I feel like I was trying to talk to him, but it was more so that like every time I
It was just
spoke, he'd
that
be like,
time
I
of the
can't
month.
believe I have to break this down this much for you. Like, you don't understand that like coding is the exact same with DNA. It's just more sequences or more bits, quote unquote. And I was just trying to ask if these bits are equivalent to what I use as like an engineer. Like, are these the same bits or are these different? If they're different, then we're obviously not talking about the same kind of fucking code. And then yeah, it got a bit in the weeds, and then he just kicked me. I don't know. He's still running the DNA thing, Monkey Boy, if you want to get back on him. He believes that he's used ChatGPT, by the way, by his own admittance. He spent the day talking to ChatGPT. He said that many times, talking about
Yeah.
precisely that.
Yeah, he talked about some random dude made this jab. I think it was like a friend of his or something. I don't know. But they just randomly said, "Oh, this guy's reading the host reading ChatGPT out of nowhere." And I read that out loud, and he was like, "Oh, I think it's okay to use ChatGPT. I always use ChatGPT." And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of pathetic." He's like, "No, I think it's fine to use ChatGPT in a debate." And I was just like,
In a
rolling my
debate
eyes,
is
like,
crazy. I don't think it's wrong to use it to kind of source information, but like in a debate is crazy.
no, you can use it as like a practical device for learning. I mean, that's fair. Though there is maybe some things you should be a little reserved about what it says and the fact it's
Oh hell yeah!
biased and it could fabricate. But that aside, I think it's generally reliable. But yeah, like people like CH or what is it, the other guy Tech or whatever that debated Rancho, they literally debate reading AI.
It's just like kind of like reminds me of this joke that now, like job applications, it's literally just AI with AI. Like everybody sends in job
Yeah.
applications that is like AI generated, and like employers just they don't read like the applications anymore. They just run them through AI. So just like AI talking to AI.
I wanted to go up to run Stroud's critique on him. Like, I wanted to just ask, like, if his argument functions like in terms of whatever formal system of logic he accepts. If this argument is completely valid, whether or not it's sound, I don't care. If that thing like functions, like I accept every premise, I get the conclusion. How do I get there from there that it imports to ontology? I wanted to get to that, but he was really pushing that he only wants to talk about atheists about the fact that DNA has code.
I wonder what happens if you stalk in course. Maybe if I'm to talk to him, I'll try that. But yeah, Russell was saying, V, can you stop running? V, can you stop running?
I don't know why he's saying I'm running when he's the one who left last
Is
time.
he even requesting?
No, he's
Talk
not
about
requesting.
AI users. There's this guy named Rancho who, when debates, he literally just reads AI. It's a fact. He's told me in DMs.
Wait, Rancho joined. What's up, Ranch? Is it this guy?
Oh, Rancho, yeah, we were just talking about how good of a debater you are and how you definitely don't use AI. I would never say that.
You're so.
Is this Rancho victims group meetup? Yeah, we're talking about how you see this like Epstein conquest guy. You victimized us in that same way. That's right.
No, I don't
mostly
like.
debates,
Wait, I can't wait. I can't tell you guys are like beefing or not. Wait.
Rancho mostly debates like abortion, I think.
No, we're best friends. I teach them everything about like Bayesian mechanics.
Did you see the new episode? Of what?
Which one?
Invincible or I guess.
Yeah, I watched it like right before I came on here. I also finished the first
No, I didn't
episode
see
of The
it.
Boys. I still have the second one that they released.
Also, I want to talk to you. Wait, Monkey, but
I gotta
why do
watch
you
the new
hate the
episode too.
boys? Why do you hate the boys, buddy?
Wait, The Boys was like
I watched
the new
the first
season
two
released?
seasons, and I don't know.
You gave up? Okay.
Dude, that's a top 10 series. I swear to God. Did the new season release?
Nah.
Yeah. Well, not
Fuck. Okay, I need to get on that because that's a W. Like, I binge watched that shit multiple times over.
That's crazy.
Maybe I'll try picking it back up, but yeah, I mean,
What
Invincible's
did you
just
like
way
about
better.
it?
I don't know. I mean, I can't put my finger on what like made me like not that interested, but
That's fair, I guess. Maybe have you considered you just have bad taste in media?
That's mean.
Yeah, I considered that, and I asked ChatGPT if that's true, and it said no. So
Have you seen videos of like people writing prompts for like for people who are like deadbeat fathers?
deadbeat
like
fathers.
fathers. Holy shit.
But yeah, did you watch the Invincible episode, Alexi?
Yeah, the one where
Today's
Conquest
episode.
and Mark. Oh no, never mind. No,
You
No,
didn't
me and
watch it?
Moxie. I'm gonna drive to Moxie's house and we're gonna watch it. We're gonna.
exactly.
I got the popcorn ready. I actually do got popcorn.
And
So,
I'll bring up the gushers.
and since you're Mexican, you bring the choros. Oh, you got gushers. Oh, we
Yeah.
talking for real.
For real.
We got Muslim Russell and Christian Russell in this live.
And then Rancho's Indian Russell. Bring up Rancho.
Yo, Russell, please join. I actually want to hear you debate Enos.
And Moxie's Mexican Russell.
That's right.
I don't think you want to say that, but
It's like the Power Rangers of Russells.
Russell's Hispanic?
This guy, he wants to be Hindu as well. Rancho.
Russell is probably. I think he's Caucasian. He's just a white
Yeah,
nigga.
you're atheist, Russell. Monkey Boy is or Venus is atheist, Russell.
Okay.
I'm Aaron.
Well, it
Russell.
wasn't divided theist to atheist. It was like ethnically, but
Have you heard that a lot of Gen Zers are now becoming religious? Are you happy, guys?
I think that's a myth.
You say like Christianity is just as rational as Islam or something like that.
Just as irrational.
Yeah. So you think like the Bible is like corrupted and there's like verses added and missing and there's one contradictions. You think that's the same as just like a coherent one deity with like a preserved book and there's no like contradictions? You think this is the same or?
Yeah, I also think you have the same problems with the Quran.
Yeah, how is it the same?
But what is the same?
Yeah, how are you making the claim like that Christianity is the same as Islam?
Well, the probability of both being true is like 0.
So you think theism is impossible? There's a contradiction.
No, doesn't need to be a contradiction for it to have a probability of 0.
Why is it true? Okay, why is it true?
Well, I think Islam and Christianity have a probability of 0. I didn't say theism. I think it is connected.
Wait, but is it true that Islam has like more contradictions in their Quran than in the Bible for Christians? Or am I wrong?
I don't think the contradiction stuff matters, but like, it's like expected for the Bible to have contradiction more so than the Quran, because for one, it's written by like 40 people. The Quran is like written by one. But also, like, Christianity isn't like a single thing. Like,
Repeat it. I didn't hear you. Just repeat. Like,
well, I said Christianity and Islam have a probability of 0, not like mere theism. And the reason why they have a probability of 0 is because of all the conjunction of claims that they make that have to be like correct. Like, there's this story of like angels and, you know, this happened and that happened and the specific metaphysics here and all these like historical claims that have like no empirical backing. Once like you take the whole salad, it's just going to push the priors towards like 0. And they both make like these like fantastical claims.
Well, if there is a God, then it would make sense that
It's
he
it's
would like.
just it's an interesting to say if there was God. We're talking about like the probability, which has given the evidence that I have.
Why wouldn't he send a revelation? It's much more expected that he would send a revelation than not. So
Why?
So Islam is superior to deism, because why create and then just like do nothing for no purpose, basically. Like,
I don't know. I mean, there's like a million stories you can tell. We've been through this like earlier. Maybe it's like an
I
art.
disagree
Maybe it's like
that
an
it's
art.
the same probability, and I disagree that it's zero. But last time we were talking, you said the soul. If I could prove that there exists a non-physical personal identity, which is what you are, and that it's not physical, it's not the brain or the body. You said that's just as expected under atheism, and I disagree. And then you said I can make up a law, but
No, I
you
don't.
can make up a law
I
for
could,
anything. If I show you like the moon split or the ocean, somebody walking on water, or like a dead person coming back to life, you could say there's a law that is natural that we haven't discovered yet, some hidden laws of physics. You can make up a story. Souls are just not expected. You creating a law that says a
yeah, I think
non-physical
if you
self.
observe some kind of a, I think if you observe some kind of a phenomena like the sea just splitting now, theism would be a just so story, and you could just make up like a naturalistic just so story, and those explanations
So
would
you're
work.
saying a soul or the ocean being split is, you can make up a story for theism and atheism, and it's just as likely.
Well, it depends. I think for mere like if you're talking about like some bare bone theism, I think it's equally expected under that as a naturalism that there's going to be a soul. But if you have like but if you like just pose it like Christianity and Islam, in which it's part of the story that there's going to be a soul, it's just going to be uninteresting to point to the soul as evidence for that, because it's already packed in that there is a soul. That's going to be as uninteresting as just positing a conjunction of naturalism and some kind of a story in which there's going to be souls, because of like I don't know, Platonism or something. Sorry, atheism in conjunction with something like Platonism. But the conjunct there, it's expected that there's going to be a soul. That's uninteresting.
Yeah, so your atheism is unfalsifiable. I was literally gonna give you evidence for a soul. I can justify that. I can give you arguments for it being
Atheism is
non-physical, and
unfalsifiable. It's unfalsifiable.
yeah, it is unfalse, because you said you don't care if I show you evidence of the soul. You don't care if the ocean split.
When
You
did I
don't
say I
care
don't?
if
When did I
there's
say I don't?
evidence for intelligence. Yeah,
When did I
because you
say I
said
don't care?
I can make up a story under naturalism, just like how, just as
But when did I
expected. You said.
say? No, I don't think you're understanding the critique that I'm running. I never said anything about caring. It's not a point about interest. I'm saying it's vacuous to say if it's part of my theory that there are souls, that the discovery of souls is evidence for that. It's like whoop-de-doo. Yeah,
So
like no
what
shit.
is evidence? What counts as evidence if souls and human DNA, life, consciousness, like the patterns of the universe, like stars don't smash into each other?
But I don't think you
Like,
understand.
well, what is evidence? If you're gonna deny all of that, like, what counts as
I'm not
evidence?
denying any. I'm not denying anything. Like I don't think you're Look, I don't think you're like tracking the points that I'm making.
Okay,
And it's kind
you're
of
saying
like
it's just as equal. It's just a story. What you're saying, I can make up a law to expect it.
yeah, I'm saying there's gonna be. Yeah, I'm saying that you can always tell some kind of a story, some kind of like an atheistic story to account for the same data. Yeah.
Okay, what is something that you can't dismiss? Some kind of evidence that you're not gonna dismiss.
I'm not dismissing any evidence. I'm saying,
What evidence are you looking for?
what am I looking for? What?
What evidence are you looking for for theism?
I'm looking for the kind of evidence that's going to make it more likely than its negation.
Yeah, but everything I give you, like the soul's or life,
Yeah, but you're just giving me. Yeah, but you're just giving me.
you don't count as evidence. So what
No,
counts?
it
as
is.
evidence?
It is evidence, but it's the trivial kind of evidence.
So
It's
what
like
is trivial
it's the kind of
What
evidence.
is actual evidence that will change
It's
your mind?
like it's as much as evidence as your shoes being missing is evidence for the shoe stealing theory. It's as much evidence as a white chair in your living room is evidence that all ravens are black.
Oh, okay, so you said souls are trivial evidence and life is trivial evidence. So what isn't trivial evidence? What is evidence that will
I'm saying
change your
souls
position?
are not like surprising evidence for a specific form of theism that posits that there are souls.
Okay, what evidence for theism wouldn't be trivial? That would change your mind.
Well, it's gonna be maybe like a successful a priori argument, or the kind of like abductive argument that where the datum is like a novel prediction as opposed to a non-novel prediction. Sorry, as opposed to like non-novel data, or the kind of like Bayesian argument that is like a p-inductive argument as opposed to like a c-inductive argument. The kind of Bayesian argument in which the posterior probability is going to be above 0.5, not just that the posterior probability is going to be larger than the prior probability. That's the kind of argument that would sway me towards theism. But just to like, but the kind of like evidence that you're giving is akin to pointing out that the chair in the living room is white is evidence for like all ravens are black.
Yeah, so
and I tried to explain this, and I tried to explain this to you like last time, but you didn't get the point. I said, look, if you're talking about like bare bone naturalism and bare bone theism, souls are like equally expected on both of them. But then you didn't understand that point, and you said, okay, but what about Islam specifically? And I said that's uninteresting because I can just take naturalism in conjunction with, I don't know, some kind of like atheism, and add to it like some kind of a specific set of views that incorporate the soul, and say, well, the point is if it's equally evidence for like bare atheism and bare theism, just the proposition God exists, God does not exist, it's not going to be more interesting to appeal to like this fuller forms of theism, because that's just the same evidence is going to underdetermine once I appeal to like fuller forms of atheism.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You're looking for an abductive argument or a novel piece of data. The thing about novel versus non-novel piece of data, that's subjective. I think souls or non-physical self, that is extremely novel. I mean, just
I don't think you know what
there is an observer is destroys atheism. So it is subjective what counts as novel versus not. But I want to understand.
But what do you think?
Under atheism, let me just ask a question. Under atheism, so you have evolution. So you have like a single cell, and then billions of years later, you have humans, mosquitoes, all kinds of creatures. Where did this law come from that binds a non-physical self to the brain? Like, what is that law? Why is that law there in the first place?
Yeah, but that's uninteresting.
That is extremely interesting.
I could just have it as like part of the hypothesis that it's like necessary.
Why does that law exist? Do you think the self or the observer is physical or non-physical?
It's not going to be interesting because, look, just understand the point. Like, you can make up the story however you want. My point is, the story, whatever evidence you're giving, is going to be it's going to be accounted for by this atheistic story.
You're kind of repeating. But just answer the question. Do you think the observer or the self is physical or non-physical?
Like what do you mean by the self?
Yeah, so I'm talking about like consciousness. So there's conscious experience and there's the observer of conscious experience. So I'm talking about the observer. Is it physical or non-physical?
Like who? Like me?
Yeah, you, the self, the observer.
Venus takes an eliminativist account of identity.
I don't think I hold to like eliminatism. I probably have like sympathies to like physicalism, but not like eliminativism.
So you don't think there is any self, right? You think like
personal identity?
Yeah, like personal identity.
No, I do probably have sympathies to like the psychological view of identity, like the continuous.
So he holds like practical identity, but not personal identity. He agrees with Parfit.
Clark, oh my God, Clark is so funny.
I'm a cinemaniac.
Clark always comes and
The
asks me
observer
if
a collection of atoms. Is the observer electricity? Is it anything physical, or is it something non-physical, like a non-physical personal identity?
Wait, Clark, I got a
Either
question.
physical or not. Go ahead.
I don't.
I feel that the whole debate community thinks poorly of you.
It hurts him. Can't you tell?
Everyone loves me. But no one in the community thinks Monkey Boy is smart.
Because he asked me that like a couple of days ago.
Everyone's afraid of me.
No, I asked you how it feels knowing that everyone in the community thinks you're dumb.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the conquest meme. Never mind.
Now people fear Clark.
They feel the same way about Moxie. They both think you're low tier.
We are both low tier. Okay.
Yeah, we are. But the numbers add up.
Yeah, Clark, what's your account of the two relation?
This Brayden guy's a side character. I don't know why he's piping up.
I'm a what?
I think
I don't think he's a side character. I think he's the main
Go ahead and
character.
block this side character.
Saul wanted to ask.
Yeah. Block me, Venus, please.
Sorry, what?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brayden
I asked Nick, do you understand that like once, like if like on bare-bone theism and bare-bone
I get it.
the same kind of data is equally expected, it's not going to be an argument against atheism to appeal to it.
Sure, but I just want to know: is the observer physical or not? Is that?
I don't know what you mean by. I don't know what you mean by observers. Do you just mean humans?
So right now you're holding a phone. There's colors, there's shapes, there's textures. There's also the observer of that experience. It's not like the experience exists in and of itself. There's the colors, and then there's the observer.
Are you like asking
You can
about,
just-
about the observer.
are you asking about like qualia?
You can just say that the experience gives the illusion of like the observer, but the observer is not actually there.
Okay, so if the observer is not there, the experience is also not there.
Well, that doesn't follow.
It does. So you're saying the
Go ahead
pain
and
of
give
the
the
toothache can
intel.
exist without the recipient of the pain of the toothache.
Yeah, like we can just say there's an illusion of an experiencer that's created by all the experiences, but there's no like actual experiencer.
So there's perception without perceiver. There's subjective experience without the subject. There's
Oh, like
without the
like
recipient.
there's only a subject in an illusory sense.
Yeah, you can say that about anything. You could say existence is an illusion. It doesn't. There's just non-existence. You could say illusion.
But it
about
doesn't follow that there's no experience.
Yeah, you can have like stick. It's like a popular view that there's experience without an experience. Like, that's Buddhism. That's like the standard view in Buddhism.
It is
Yeah,
Buddhism.
but so you're saying you don't exist. It's just the colors exist by themselves, and
there's
nobody's
like-
experiencing
Yeah,
it.
like there's a lot of people who believe that there isn't a self. That's Nietzsche's
right.
view.
Yeah, Derek
My
Parker
view.
believes in this, and Moxie is.
Moxie Head holds that view. Buddhist
Yeah.
holds that view.
I think there's just
I hold
cluster
that
of
view.
experiences. They're just not indexed to some subject in mind, right?
Wait, when you say I think that, what is that indexed to? What is the term I indexed to?
Oh, I'm just using it in the fictional sense.
Oh, so the term I is non-indexical?
Oh, I'm just using it in a fictional sense.
Okay, it's gonna be a dodge.
I
we could just
am
be
just
fictionalists
using it.
about
I am just
identities.
using it.
I am just using it. The sentence is also.
Yeah, it's self-defeating because if you reject the I, then you have to say that I reject the I. So it's like self-defeating.
But you think that our agent, Moxie. But you don't think there's a self.
So I kind of find it weird to think that there's no subjects, but there's agents. I don't know.
My Jack, do you think like the no self view is like nonsense?
I guess so. But I understand the motivation. I think the motivation for it is like an interesting one.
Well, Jack also thinks that like value properties exist in objects, so he has a weird view.
Yeah, so a prerequisite for subjective
Makes an
experience
object that
is
object,
the
right?
subject. A
No.
prerequisite for subjective experience is the subject. So let's say the subject is not
Well,
an
that just
illusion.
kinda begs
to
the
advance
question.
this conversation.
That just begs the question.
No,
because there's no
okay,
self.
let's say it's not an illusion. Let's say it's not an illusion. Is it physical or non-physical?
Is
Depends
what?
who you're at- Depends who you're
But
asking.
how do you distinguish
I'm
physical or
asking.
non-physical?
It's a
Yeah,
good
so
question.
physical is like third person quantitative described in physical language, like an atom or a piece of metal or electricity. It's just third person quantitative. That's what
Wait,
physical
but
is.
why can't physicalists account for that?
And also, does that
No,
mean that
I'm not.
first person mental states are non-physical? Like what?
Because it seems that people
Yes, they're
could
mental. They're
That wouldn't be
introspect.
true on like an analytic functionalist account.
Okay, maybe I have a question for you. You don't think that physicalists can introspect about their experiences?
Yeah, that too.
No. Wait, V, is it physical or non-physical? I feel like
Dodge.
you're dodging.
Yeah, why are
like-
you dodging
I
Moxie's
ask you about
question, Stick?
I ask you about my view personally.
Yeah, you're personal.
I probably have sympathies towards physicalism, but I don't have like a worked out view.
I just want to flag that Stick is dodging Moxie's question. Stick, you're lost in the rhetorical maze right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. You don't need to answer my question.
What's the question?
Oh, you do want to answer them? Okay. Well, I asked you. Like, it seems that the implication is that like physicalists can't introspect about their experiences, right? That's one aspect of being first personal, right? Of your experiences, but like, do you think that's a commitment that they can't introspect about their experiences if they're a physicalist?
No, I never said they can't.
Well, okay. How do you then carve out the distinction between physical or non-physical?
Yeah, so
I'll try to rejoin.
Are you gonna rejoin?
Yeah, I got to restart my phone. I'll try to rejoin.
All right.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so physical refers to anything that is third person and quantitative, like tables, chairs, electricity, neurons, stars.
So you are saying
anything.
that physicalists can't introspect, right? Because that would be something that's non-physical. It's something that entail contradiction
Yes,
under
so
view.
So
yes.
the mind is mental. It's first person. It's not third.
So
person.
yes.
You're not answering
Physicalists
Moxie's question.
Can introspect. They can introspect.
He's just reading off.
Jesus. Okay. Well, then I don't know. Then at that point, that seems
The
ridiculous.
first person, third person stuff is just confusing to like bake that into the definitions.
Yeah.
The physical is just defined as that which is third person, which obviously on the physicalist account, if they think all that exists is the physical and introspective states are first person, then they wouldn't be able to introspect. Brain dead slow boy.
Ridiculous. Which I
Brain
don't.
dead view
So,
Stick.
just because
You should like
they're
you should like
physicalist
read
doesn't mean that
some.
physicalism is true.
No, but
So
you
they
should
have
like
minds.
you should like read some philosophy.
Illusionists don't believe consciousness exists.
What does
but
that have to do with
consciousness.
this?
Similarly, physicalists don't believe first person experience exists, although it does. So
Physicalists
I don't know
only.
what your
I
question
mean, it depends what you mean by. What do you mean by first person experience?
your mind, like colors, sounds, and the observer. And
Do you mean
so
qualia?
on. Yes.
A lot of most physicalists believe qualia exists.
Yeah, think about like a non-reductive physicalist, right? Like they're able to account. for
I
qualia.
ne-
Maybe
I never
they're
said
like
otherwise.
denaturalized, but qualia is still there, right? People want to say it.
All
Like,
right.
they might
yeah,
they might
I'm
drop
gonna-
the commitment that it's not private or it's not ineffable, right? But
Yeah,
they might
okay.
say that
Have you like read anything on like physicalism, like any works of physicalists or like
Yeah, I did.
theorists?
My phone is kind of low, so I'll just say one last thing and then I'll leave. Right. So I think the observer, which exists, is first. It's not third person, so it's first person and it's non-physical. It has a personal identity and it's non-physical, which
the first
fits
person,
the
third
definition of
person.
the soul. So I think souls are demonstrably real.
Stick, how does it feel to
and that is
lose?
Unexpected,
You lost.
and that is unexpected under.
now you just
You don't
now
need to
you
leave.
just-
I could just pass you my charger.
Yeah, but like
You're
the first person,
America?
third person stuff is that's just a perspective. That's like uninteresting. But what the question is, do you think the question is qualia physical or not? That's like what the debate is.
Yeah, it's mental. It's not physical.
How does
By
it feel?
definition,
It's not like a definition of things.
dude. So are you saying the experience of a dream is the same as a table? Or
That's what
the
he's
same
saying. Yeah,
category?
that's what.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
what he's
table.
saying. Good
that's
job.
right.
You guessed it. We
That's like
finally
saying,
arrived at the point.
Numbers are the same as a chair. These are
Well, numbers
literally
are not.
two-
You got it
well,
again.
Numbers
You
are
got
not.
it again.
Numbers are not mental objects, but like
Mental
I'm just
and
curious.
physical
Like
are two
why
different
don't
categories.
why don't you actually take the time to like read like what philosophers believe. Like
all right, just one
analytic.
last comment because my phone is one
No, but
last
like
comment.
why?
Right, so I think let me finish, man, please, and then I'll go. Right, so I believe souls exist and they're demonstrably real. This is completely unexpected. Let me finish. This is completely
Like what?
unexpected.
You just said that like
Yo,
10
mute
seconds
yourself.
ago.
Stick, you lost. How does it feel to lose?
All right, so I define the soul as a non-physical personal
You
identity
gonna cry?
who can justify both of these
You lose.
I understand it's
attributes,
not the.
which
It's not a
means
matter of.
that they exist,
It's not a
which
matter of
means,
like definitions.
and they are
You can't
completely
just define a
unexpected
soul
under
into
atheism.
existence, bro.
You can't just define
It's
things into
completely
existence.
unexpected under atheism. Therefore, atheism is false. Therefore, you should stop being an atheist.
Wait,
But you could do
if
whatever
so,
you
wait,
want.
wait,
I don't care.
what?
All right, peace out.
To atheism, what?
Hey, W
Got
is
my
being
charger.
unexpected.
Dude, I think
under
he's better
atheism.
than I think he's better than Jade Dyer, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, the bar's in hell.
I mean, that's an impressive feat. I mean, is he really
It's
there?
an anti-feat, yeah.
Might be a theist.
I
But you know, they say anti-venom.
I think Muslim Rasul might be worse than Christian Rasul after that. After like hearing that.
Yo, that did sound like Rasul, low key.
Nah, that can't be true.
But yeah, that's Muslim
We
Rasul.
call him Muslim Rasul. He's been
Oh
called
really?
that for like
Oh
a
damn.
whole year.
I'm
Have you
just
not seen
catching
his
up.
old videos, bro?
I
On
have
that channel with
several videos of that guy, but I've just never like taken the time to listen to him and analyze his voice. Usually it's just because somebody I like is talking to him, not because he's somebody I like.
How do I become a member of Phil Library?
Precept.
Just email me your YouTube email and I'll send you a link and you can upload stuff.
Wait, people could wait. I thought you're the one who updates and sends the videos. Wait, so other people are doing that?
I am. Well, I am for like a long time, but recently, over the past like I would say 5 or 6 months, I've been adding people who host live. Like Venus is one of them. Venus archives his live streams there, and right now we have like 21 uploaders.
Jesus.
You know what's funny is that Flenser will go back and rewatch the videos and like write like analysis of what happened.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to, like, if anybody who wants to do that, you know,
Wait,
it's
Zach,
available.
that person is Flenser?
I mean, there Flenser comments on the lives. His name's Flenser, so it'd be obvious who.
I know that account, but there's another guy giving like AI.
No, the guy who gives like the analyses and the timestamps is somebody from Court's community. Court also uploads on there.
Damn.
Why do you have some videos that have premiere dates? And they're like bangers too.
Because I didn't want to. I record so much.
Oh, that's why.
And I didn't just want to, like in the past I've just uploaded 50 videos in a day. And I didn't want to do that because I didn't want people to feel like when they uploaded that their videos would get drowned. So I just scheduled and upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until October.
That's what Monkey Boy does.
Yeah. I have 150 videos awaiting premiere that are already uploaded. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of your work.
Hey, thanks, man. You're some of my work, so I can see why you would like it.
I'm your number one fan.
I'm only in one of your videos.
I knew that already. That's like an unspoken, like, yeah.
Wait, I thought he said I'm not really a big fan of your work.
What?
Yeah, I mean, either is the case. Yeah. I'm just honored that Clark would speak directly to me.
Am I actually the only one who heard that? Like, I'm being serious.
No, I heard that too.
What did you say?
No,
Yeah, Clark would never.
You're confused. You're confused.
Yeah, Clark would have to be like a rude guy to say that.
It has to be a scumbag.
Here, I'm known for being confused. You can even ask Clark.
Yeah. Sexually, erotically confused.
Monkey Boy, can you rap for us?
And not in French this time?
Wait, he speaks French?
Not right now. No, I don't
He
speak
does.
French.
He plays with a stick like a maestro, like he plays with the dick like a femboy's tight hole.
I've seen that clip.
Yeah.
Bars?
Wait, who's God? The guy in the audience.
Obviously
God,
Christ. Obviously Christ.
Yeah, what the Lord, Christ the Lord. Yo, Jack, you weren't at the Sarah Conley meeting.
Sarah Conley.
Yeah, I was just in a meeting with her on medical
Oh
ethics.
yeah, I
From her.
didn't go to that because I think that applied ethics is a meme.
Yeah, I thought so, but she was saying some interesting stuff. She was saying here's some highlights. She said, well, once the decision that you make becomes dumb enough, it's no longer an autonomous decision. That's one thing she said. Also, like, forcing procedures onto people because it's in their best interest. That's what she said. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure I would disagree with her about that.
Yeah, I don't. I was finding myself agreeing with her a surprising amount. She likened it to people saying that they're better drivers when they're drunk, and actually seatbelts are bad for you because they like just traps you to the vehicle. But then once they outlaw drinking and driving and they mandated seatbelts, people don't feel like their liberties being infringed upon when they hop into a car. It's just unthinkable that you wouldn't wear a seatbelt or that you would drive drunk. And in much the same way, if a Jehovah's Witness didn't want to get a blood transfusion because of their religion or something, eventually we might stop thinking of it as an infringement on our liberty, or that liberty is only instrumentally valuable and not intrinsically valuable.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. I might have liked that. I probably should have. Well, maybe he'll upload.
I recorded. I can send you a link, but I
Oh
won't.
yeah,
It's
okay,
not
yeah.
able to be
I would
public.
probably watch that. Yeah, send me that. Thank you.
Wait, who was having this discussion?
Sarah Conley.
Nathan.
She wrote the book "Limits of Liberty," and there's a chapter on medical ethics, and we were talking about medical ethics.
But you know that like Nathan does these colloquia at St. Andrews, where he invites. I think you've probably attended one, Venus.
Who?
Yeah, he invites like 30 people.
They're like on Team Viewer.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh,
he had one with Joshua
a-
Rasmussen on whether or not God can be morally held responsible.
I think that was
he had
on
one.
Zoom, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like on a
similar to
Zoom-like
Zoom,
platform. Yeah. He had one recently with Timothy Perrine, the guy who wrote the Skeptical Theism entry and the SEP on Skeptical Theism.
Yeah, that guy was very smart, though. I don't understand his view. I don't understand how skeptical theism is supposed to be an option, but I guess I'll have to read through.
Yeah, because he was saying some stuff, because somebody, I actually like pressed somebody to ask him about the global skepticism stuff, and he said, well, just because you don't have access to all the reason that God's conduct, you can make generalizations based on like, if there's one good thing in the world, then there's likely more than one good thing because the kind of person that created, or the kind of agent that created, had a proclivity to create good things, and the same with bad things and things like that. So, but I don't understand how that is.
But I mean,
to the objection as well.
but I guess I don't really. I guess I don't really see how that is going to matter because,
yeah.
Because the point is that it doesn't seem like your moral faculties are reliable on a view.
Right. Even if you know every reason except for one, the secret reason could be all the reasons you think you know, you don't really know, or you think that you know them, but I have a morally sufficient reason to deceive you.
Yeah, I mean, it's once because I mean, I don't see. I mean, I guess yeah. So like, the way I look at it is, what skeptical theists are committed to saying is that their moral perceptive faculties are unreliable. And once you say that, the rest is going to follow. The Pandora's box entailment just seems like it's going to follow straightforwardly.
Yeah,
So
I forget. Like, it's unintuitive to me, his pushback, so I forget what exactly he said to push back. But he said something along the lines of, it doesn't have to be 0 or 100. It can be like 99 or 1% or something.
Oh. I see.
Like you can at least know that a god, like something that a god might do is create in such a way where you are having some kind of experience, and you can't, you obviously can't be mistaken in that or something like that.
I guess I'd like to understand how we're supposed to evaluate the idea that God is mostly good, right? Like, how
Yeah.
is that? How is that supposed to be? How are we supposed to come to that view once we're acknowledging that there are a lot of things that we don't see the justification?
Right. I mean isn't that the appeal to skeptical theism though?
I mean, um, I guess, uh, I mean, I don't. I mean, the appeal is that you get out of the problem of evil without having to resort to a
Like a theodicy.
theodicy.
Yeah.
But I just don't see how you escape this problem.
Yeah, you don't escape a problem, you just escape the logical problem of evil.
Well, no, the logical problem of evil isn't
I
even.
mean, sorry, I meant the you know what I mean. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the evidence.
Yo, so I was reading this. Sully said it's logically impossible for God to deceive you into believing He exists.
Sully said that? That it's logically impossible for God to deceive you? What would it mean to deceive you into believing something is true?
Because it would be true that He exists if He were deceiving you. I mean, okay.
Maybe that's why he's saying it's logically impossible. Because
Yeah, he
he's
said
saying,
that's why he's saying it.
oh, okay.
But I don't know. I don't think it was relevant to anything you said though.
Yeah, I got tricked.
Are you talking about Nathan as in digital gnosis?
No, Nathan.
Nathan Bray.
You know, the guy that debated
Miles?
He's like
debated Miles Donahue.
Yeah.
With Alex Malpass and that guy.
He's like Oppie. He's like Oppie's trainee.
Yeah, Oppie is his dissertation advisor. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like needs to raise.
Oh, he said. Oh, so he said. Well, that's why skeptical theism can't get you all the way to global skepticism. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It doesn't get you all the. Oh, I see. You mean that there could be at least one proposition that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. We're not talking about the edge cases. We're saying something like humans have 10 fingers, and then Sully's saying like, well, there's a person that's born with 11 fingers.
Yeah, it's tantamount to global skepticism. Or as they might say, it's virtually global skepticism.
I need to reread the Stephen Law paper.
With Ollie's Orange?
The 10 page. Because like it's been like 10 years or something, at least 5 years since I read it. I remember that I don't think Jack runs it the same way he does, but he appeals to like the no see inference. I just forgot like how like Law ran the argument. I think in that paper I think in the Pandora's Box paper he's responding to Bergman, I think Michael Bergman, if I'm not mistaken.
I read it again like a year or two ago, and I remember liking it more the first time I read it than when I reread it. So I don't know. I found it more convincing the first time I read it.
There's also another paper, but I forgot by whom, where he makes like Law's argument even stronger. That's another paper I have to like find again.
Venus, have you checked out a paper by Graham Priest against like the fine-tuning argument?
No, I haven't read that one.
It's like a paper showing that like the constants could be any real number, and that would make the probability like 0, something like that. So he's like not letting it have any ground to be an argument, something like that.
Detroit had like an interview with somebody who like naturalizes normativity today, it seems.
The recent video?
That was about the human norms or something.
Yeah, that is Garfield.
Garfield, yeah.
Yeah, who he also works on Buddhist philosophy, I guess, or Indian philosophy, and he is somebody that you can barely
Jack, you sound far away, bro.
No, you sound fine to me, but I have like the max volume on though.
Well, he's somebody that Darth Dawkins interacted with.
How?
It was through Canadian.
Oh.
And does anyone else hear Jack?
Yeah, Jack sounds like very far away from the mic.
Oh, now you said far away. I mean, we can still make out what you're saying. Are you like plugged in a mic or are you just using the phone mic? Solly Sullivan.
They can't really talk much at the moment, unfortunately, but I will be able to soon.
Cosmic Man said Epstein was an idealist. Do you guys watch the 2-hour interview with Epstein where he goes into like Leibniz and...
Wait, what? There's this one?
Wait, Jeffrey?
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein. The 2-hour with that guy who ran, what's it called? Breitbart. What was his name? He was advisor to Trump.
What was he saying?
I think he was like arguing for substance dualism, using the Leibniz-Mill argument.
That's actually crazy.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's the 2-hour interview. What was the guy's name? What was the guy's name, Jack? The guy who was an advisor to Trump? The Breitbart guy?
Was he
Not sure who you're talking about.
Was he Trump's spiritual advisor?
No. He's the guy who's arguing for like a third term for Trump.
I wasn't expecting Jeffrey Epstein to be a philosopher.
Well, I don't see why not. I mean, like, he like hung around with like Chomsky and other philosophers. He was like very...
Really? Wait, who's the other philosophers?
let me think. Daniel Dennett. He was like a big... It was like he has ties to Daniel Dennett.
Really? Oh my god. That's wild.
He was into like having academic friends a lot.
Were they also on the island?
Were they else? No, I don't think any of them were on the island. Do we know who was on the island? Is there like a confirmed list of who was on the island?
I'm not
Who invited
sure,
me?
but I did hear a lot of people mention like Chomsky was in the I don't know, but yeah.
Chomsky was advising him how to reinvent his image, I think.
Hmm.
Who invited me here?
Hey, who are you?
You invited me, dog.
I just like mass invite everybody.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't disagree with your background, so.
Wait, Venus, what was the name? I was talking to someone, so I missed it.
Daniel Dennett.
Daniel
Dennett.
Dennett. Got it.
Oh dear.
Does anybody know when, like, when you change the window, when like TikTok ends your live and when it doesn't? Does anybody know like the sensitivity of that, or is it like random? Just go on YouTube and type Jeffrey Epstein interview. It should be 2 hour long. What's the end?
You know, it's actually crazy that like he like blatantly like just lies. He's like, I don't want to answer that or something. Dude.
Have you seen the one where Bill Clinton is looking at like the pictures and his lawyers like snatch the paper away from him and then he snatches them back?
I don't think so. Why do I keep seeing a lot of like edits from him, bro?
Divinity is back.
What's up, guys?
What's up, dog?
I got a call from my girlfriend in the middle of explaining the transcendental argument for atheism.
You explained the argument to your girlfriend?
I got a call, like, while I was explaining it in your live, I got a call.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I was like, oh shit, the transcendental arguments will lead the live stream.
Why wouldn't you put it on pause? I mean,
Yeah, you're right about that.
Transcendental argument's more important.
Damn it, girl, I'm talking about semantic internalism.
Right.
You guys say just like that.
That's funny, that's exactly what I said.
But you think it's a sound argument, Divinity, do you?
Do I think it's a sound?
Yeah.
I haven't really done too much thought on it. I mean,
On the TAA. TAA.
I actually kind of, I'm sympathetic towards like the basic idea of like if God is like the only thing, there's like some problems that start happening when you start talking about consciousness. So I kind of like the argument. I usually don't use terms like semantic internalism, externalism, and I think in that way, but I haven't given it too much thought.
I'm looking to make like a set of like reverse arguments, like the fine-tuning argument for atheism, the cosmological argument for atheism.
Cosmological argument for atheism.
I already have the model ontological argument for atheism and the transcendental argument for atheism. I just need to
You should get some harmony arguments for atheism.
the psychophysical.
Are there any pragmatic arguments for atheism?
Of course.
Give me one.
A pragmatic argument?
Isn't that like parsimony? And the argument for parsimony would be pragmatic.
It's a parsimony argument. Oh yeah, I mean of course naturalism is parsimonious.
How we use that shit?
Actually, he's divinely simple, so.
The universe is naturally simple, so it's cool.
No, but divine simplicity has precedence.
Right.
I think Swinburne unironically tries to use divine simplicity as, ontological parsimony or something. Well, he did in the 80s. I don't know if he's... Which is funny because he doesn't even believe in the idea. He's like a mystic.
Multiple people run that actually on like the internet, like on TikTok.
Yeah, but those people are stupid. I don't think Swinburne is stupid.
Really, I think.
You think Swinburne is stupid?
Yeah, and the TikTok apologists are smart.
Swinburne.
What about the transcendental argument for egoism? It's on the way.
I'd be surprised if there is such an argument.
For egoism? Well, you could frame it like an agency argument, like Kant's whole bullshit, but
The mortal ontological argument for an objectivism.
existence exists, bro.
Divinity, send me YouTube shorts.
Just send YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
The tech, by the way, whenever you guys are debating somebody that's like super ignorant on philosophy, is go tell them to watch a YouTube short. That's what I do to people. I'm like, go watch a YouTube short and get back to me.
That shit's funny.
That guy yesterday almost made you crash out on Plato.
That was a guy. That was a guy you were talking to that said, what do you say? What did bro say? Like atheism.
Objective morality is not an atheistic perspective.
Yeah. Something like that.
And I was just like, who invented morality systematically, bro? I was like, made me so mad. He's like, Plato's a theist. I'm like, are you joking? Like, why would you interpret the demiurge as a god? It's so stupid.
One person that does that in this app that never gets J-Rob. He keep asking, how do you have objective morality without God? And he says this shit with such conviction. I'm like,
genuinely, what the fuck are they talking about? They must be ignorant on the history of philosophy. Yeah, there's no way.
Bro, J-Rob is like scratching, like being human. He's like barely there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way you know like anything about the history of philosophy, and you believe that stupid shit. For two millennia, they just studied philosophy. Was just a study of Aristotle and Plato. I can't believe like people think that objective morality began with theism. Is so stupid. You guys J-Rob to debate divinity? Hello, Kirk. Don't even know who that is, but sure.
Yeah, you should. You should debate.
yeah, debate J-Rob and objective morality can only exist with God or something like that.
He should run a gauntlet. He should take like Russell, J-Rob, Present, like all these people at once.
I feel like I've just had my way with like all the different theist debaters that I know of, that I've come in contact with, but there's a lot of them I just don't even know.
Present is just insufferable.
Present, I think President's not even trying to be not even trying to have a conversation with you.
Now, Present is like, he might even be a LARPer.
I think like
he has backgrounds that like he's like on record saying that it's an entailment from atheism. You can't critically think. Like he actually.
What?
Yeah. I remember that.
The transcendental argument for theism, bro.
Like,
under what modality can you not critically think? Like logically? It's like impossible to perform the action of critical thought if atheism is true.
Yeah, that's. Isn't he like a tag user?
He has to be.
Like him and Risen are like devout transcendental users.
What user?
Tag.
Oh, tag user.
The devout.
Precepts.
That's a funny
Risen
thing.
is also really dumb.
Yo, is P Mars like a joke? Is P Mars like joking, or is he like genuinely?
Yeah, he's a troll.
No, Pima genuinely believe what he says, but
I
yeah,
don't think that.
I don't know about that one.
It's still
you
controversial,
don't.
but I think he's like a complete troll. I don't even think he's Christian.
That's a long. He's been here for like 6 years.
Did
That's a
didn't
long
even
time
make
to keep
peace
up a
talk.
joke.
No, I debated Islamic Apex though.
That guy is horrible.
Yeah.
Did
When
he
was
run the
that?
MI?
As an interlocutor, he just crashes out.
Yeah, I was talking to him and he said that it was like analytically entailed from the universe that it was created. I was like, what are you talking about?
I think I saw you talk to him once in that Algerian girls live. What was her name again?
Oh, Raz. Yeah, that was
Raz.
that
She,
debate.
yeah, Shakira something.
That girl is like very confused.
Yeah.
You talked with her, right? Wasn't that? It was the one about carbon dating or something.
No, that's Shekian.
Oh.
She's confused as well.
And they're Muslim though, so what do you expect?
I saw the Rise girl trying to run the EAM, but she didn't understand the argument. Another confused guy is that twink that you replied to, Monkey Boy, a Muslim guy.
The guy with curly hair?
The
That
curly.
he said the stupid stuff about like you could live a day more on naturalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made no sense. Oh my god. That was actually probably like actually one of the most incoherent arguments I've ever heard. I'm not replying to that. If you want to reply to that, you can, but like what is there to even
No, but I don't understand
just reply to the video and say it's gibberish?
like if under naturalism it is possible to live for eternity. Like what's like the problem?
Well,
One
it
of
seems
Monkey
like
Boy,
everything he said in that video is true of theism. So
one of Monkey Boy's funniest response videos is some dude was gonna prove God by drawing circles. Drew like some circles for like 2 minutes.
I only did that one because it blew up, and it was like super short. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say either there.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Wait,
He actually
Liam.
didn't. He didn't even make an inference. He actually said, "I'll show you that God exists in under 2 minutes," and drew circles for 2 minutes, and actually just says, "This is my greatest proof." I'm not even, like he. I mean, like, what is? I don't know what's like. He must have like. I don't know.
Sorry, was somebody ask me a question?
Yeah, Liam, have you debated Deathless?
My
I think
goat.
so.
He debated my goats.
Yeah, one time he tried debating me on objectivism before. I had no idea who this guy was when I talked to him, but he was just rambling, and I was like, no, that's not right.
You know, he's never lost a debate.
How do you feel to lose? How do you feel to lose? Let's be honest. Deathless got some quotables.
I want to see Deathless debate. I want to see Deathless debate Nightbot.
Who's Matt?
You don't know who Nightbot is?
No. I don't.
I went on Discord.
That'd be. You know, actually, people were trying to set that up when Nightclot was on TikTok. I'm not even joking.
Mags asked me to set it up, like Michael versus Douglas.
You should have done that. Yo, Nightclot versus Death. Just the idea of that's so funny. Did you see Clark versus Deathless?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that one is top tier.
Last time I talked to Deathless, I like knew who he was. I like knew what his strategy was, and so my strategy was just to point out. It was just to point out every time he stuttered. So I just like wouldn't say a single substantive thing. I'd be like, "No, you stuttered. You stuttered. You stuttered." That's all I did.
Well.
Did you debate Apollo recently, Monkey Boy?
No.
Oh.
I haven't talked with him in probably months. I don't even remember the last time we spoke.
Like a lot of these like debate personalities are just like so stupid.
I did see that one interaction with Breach. You know, Breach actually, when I first saw Breach was doing that Apollo thing, I thought it was Apollo.
Yeah, he's good at it. He's good, bro.
Did he just have the hang of it like automatically, or he was?
No, he practiced in Discord.
That's crazy.
You put time into that? That's crazy.
Kick it bait, yeah. Analytic philosophy.
What does he say? Like he always says the baby temper,
brave boy,
or no, it's like baby temper tantrum, right? Is that what he says?
Baby your temper tantrum. Yeah. This fucking cadence is so stupid. Like emphasizes the weirdest syllables, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, the funniest thing about Apollo is his e-sex shit got leaked.
I heard about that. I haven't heard much about that.
He was like doing a role play scene where his like girl transformed into a horse and sat on his face.
God.
And like farting on him.
No.
Was it
I
like
swear to God.
Actually?
like a text?
Wait, don't forget the fart part.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said like that's what I'm
Bro.
saying. The horse, like the girl transformed into a horse, like sat on his face and farted on him.
Bro, what?
This is why Apollo.
Oh
This is why the joke when Bridge does the Apollo stuff, he talks about farting and eating shit because Taking
Bro,
debate
that's-
love to get smothered by the It's so funny.
Bro, I actually like that's so disgusting. What? I heard all I've heard was stuff about femboys. That's
So get you, it literally
worst.
takes a while to like fully internalize that he like genuinely said that and wants it. Like it's so funny. It's like so funny. Like there's like a humor level where you like don't even like comprehend it and you like really think about it and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right. A horse
Farting on the face.
Like even the stuff like people talking about like women farting in your face. I mean, I don't know what that king's about, but a horse is actually wild.
It's important to understand that. That's why there's like a clip of me debating Apollo where I talk about transfiguration into a horse. I said that he like one of my rhetorical quips was that he was enjoying the conversation because it resembled his shit, getting shit in his mouth. You must love the taste of shit in your mouth, boy. That's why you're. You love getting shit on. That's why you love this debate. You love.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. Where is that?
I don't know who recorded that. It's probably somewhere on the internet.
I feel like I missed out on some parts, on some people, because I wasn't into like this, but there was a guy named T-Jump that makes insane points that I found on YouTube.
Oh yeah. I think the most like personally revealing debate I've ever had is I debated Kay one time and we just like went back and forth and talking about sex.
Wait, I think it's kind of posted on, I don't know the guy's name. It starts with an S, social something.
Social verificationist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's posted there. Some
shit is genuinely peak.
Yeah, his content. He doesn't post enough, but
it's so funny.
It's so funny because I knew that guy would watch my lives for a long time. No idea he posted anything. Then I see all these all this stuff with like Liam's in it, Lucario,
Cool guy.
me. Yeah, cool guy. Jack, I've seen who else? There's like a bunch of people he has stuff about. This content's hilarious.
Yeah, he is so funny. Yeah, social verification is like the funniest guy ever. What's up, Danny?
What's going on? Wait, say what's up?
Huh?
Oh,
That was Liam? Hey,
Yeah.
Liam.
Hey, man.
What's going on, man? I saw you talk
much.
to Wilson.
Yup. That was a fun debate.
You know, I'm not. Well, you're still an objectivist, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciated that position there because he actually had to because a lot of people, including myself, kind of just point out the framing of the whole discussion, but you actually provided him with a substantive account that he didn't know what to do with, which was interesting.
I mean, he's just used to running this. He's just used to misappropriating these philosophical tools against porn stars. He has no idea how to talk to a philosopher.
Well, right, yeah, like for someone like me, I would just, I don't really have a very substantive political view, and I just point out that he's, that there's some faulty assumptions in the question, or that it's I do, but you actually gave him some meat to work with, and he didn't know what, he couldn't chew it, which was interesting.
Yeah, my choice when answering that conversation was because he was talking to Eduardo, and I know Eduardo's background beliefs are mine, and so I could either go on offense, just press the shot at him, in which case he'd probably just retreat or something. And I didn't have enough conversation, or I didn't have enough knowledge of what the conversation was about to just straight go on offense, or I could just do this gambit where I just go on complete defense, and it's just if I know my shit, he's gonna look really bad. Which is what happened, because obviously he did not know what to do.
Yeah, and you were saying really basic stuff too, not just stuff that was kind of essential. Well, that's unique to objectivism, stuff. I forgot I don't know how you. It was questions about we just need resources, right? And there's going to be basic competition,
Yeah, I forgot economics. Yeah.
Yeah, even that, I don't know. You already know. He plays this game. It's a game. The last thing he wants to do is substance. He wants to go through what every word means, right? And then kind of catch you on an inconsistency on your term usage. And I feel like that's his game.
Yeah. But it didn't work. Yes, it was really bad for him whenever there's a clip of the end debate where it was 40 minutes in, he's what makes a fact stance? What kind of facts or stance depend?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What's that depend on stances, boy? What do you mean? Oh yeah, I thought he looked pretty embarrassing. And you'll see the change of the contrast of tone between the way he speaks to me and the way he speaks to everyone else on the OnlyFans models. Because at the end of the debate, he's thank you so much. But every time he talks to the other people, he tries to degrade their character or call them stupid.
Right, I think he recognized he was sort of out of his depth, and then he'll treat you different. I mean, that's pretty normal though for people to do. But the thing what is not normal is wanting to talk to not very arrogant malinformed people, not misinformed, but not very informed people. I like to talk to to non-informed people if they're very arrogant or pretentious.
Yeah.
But I don't get this desire to talk to people that are not that way.
Yeah.
And that are not very informed.
Yeah, no, me too. I think that's why. I mean, it's just an inherently dishonest perspective, because he's holding these women to the standards of professional philosophers, but he himself doesn't hold himself to that standard. But he has he acts as if he does.
We had a debate with Pikachu, right, Danny? I think I watched that.
Yeah, it was a pretty boring debate, but it was a shit prompt, but he insisted on it, so nothing happened.
Wait, what was the debate again? Was it?
Who did you debate?
Who's more brainwashed, Muslims or atheists?
Yeah.
Was the reason why you agreed to that debate because he's a Pokemon?
Well, that was part of it. When I told Bing about his last name, she got very interested.
Did you have coffee with him afterwards?
What's that?
Did you have a cup of coffee with him afterwards?
Well, yeah, that was just a way of saying that, like, we're changing the subject here, but
Yeah, I know, but
yeah.
I'm just asking. Like, did you actually have a cup of coffee?
I didn't. I did have a cup. I did get dinner with Jake, the Muslim metaphysician guy. Jake and I like talked to these Muslims about the horrors of liberalism for like 4 or 5 years, or sorry,
Wow.
4 or 5 hours. Sorry, I'm driving. So, because I, like like the sort of conversations about freedom of speech, like all that stuff, like a sort of almost like a self-defeating political principle.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So I did that with him for years.
Yeah, Andrew Wilson. That's like kind of Andrew Wilson's strategy. So I want to talk about. He'll want to talk about politics. But he wants to do it in like a really philosophical way, which is what I do. But
I want to bring politics back to Earth, but then that means I actually have to like look at the world, which is uncomfortable for a philosopher to do sometimes.
Right.
But I think getting stuck in all the a priori stuff, although that might be important, there's that stress on theory and whatnot. But like for me, it's just like I think my theory should be driven by political data and my values. Sorry, empirical data and my values. But I haven't really looked at a lot of empirical data.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously I have my political philosophy, and I love the Enlightenment and I love liberalism. So,
would you say that you came to those conclusions in a kind of a priori way or some other fashion?
Yeah, it's not a priori. I mean, it's through the use of theory, but it's not a priori. It's like kind of a derivative application of my ethical worldview. So like my ethical worldview essentially concludes that you should try to live a awesome, happy life, and you do that by using your mind in all these different ways. And then in politics, the whole point is that a society would only be a good society if it would enable the free use of your mind, so that you can live this awesome moral life. So that I believe in individual rights and all these other things, and I believe the government should conform and protect them. So I believe in like democratic functions of government. I believe in the police and prisons and legislation, and I don't agree with taking money from people and giving it to others forcefully.
But I wonder if the first half of that was sort of, trivial isn't the right word, because it's important. There are people that want worlds in which they force people and cause each other pain, right? So it's not quite, but like I think anyone that we would normally encounter would want a world where people are not being forced to do things optimally, right? Like what sort of common view that we might encounter like would disagree with that?
Well, the ethical worldview that my adopting is egoism. So like, obviously, if you're a utilitarian or an egalitarian, you might believe that some people's lives should be made worse off for the sake of other people. I don't think that.
Danny, you can logically derive capitalism from the
Law of identity.
I won't say that.
Yeah, Rand the goat.
Who did?
Ayn Rand the goat.
Oh, she said that? I didn't know that.
Not she didn't mean it literally, but anyway. Yeah, I mean that's an example. It's like the whole idea is that when you confront the issue of politics, you can't drop the context of like the political system has to be advantageous to me as an individual. And broadly, that's the same for, like, it's true. It has to be advantageous, like each individual. Each individual has the same requirements of government, which is to be free to use their mind. And so that's why, like, I'm not an egalitarian. I'm not a utilitarian. That's where a difference of value and principle would come in. like
But
yeah,
what
welfare.
sort of
Those people basically deny love identity.
They do.
But yeah, well, but what sort of people? Well, what sort of like competing views that you take seriously? Think otherwise. That like this idea of being free and having being unimpeded, like and like what sorts of competing political views would disagree?
Egalitarianism.
Egalitarianism?
Yeah, as a theory of justice. I would disagree.
Oh, okay. Is that? I guess political. I guess I'm thinking more narrowly.
Like more broadly, utilitarian. Like so if you're saying what's a competitive normative theory to egoism, or what's a competitive interpretation of politics if you're an egoist? Or are you saying
Like
what's a
the way
competitive
that
philosophy?
so I guess when I'm thinking of politics, like we're thinking about a political system of governance, and then you have your economic theory that's kind of tangential to that, but usually one is downstream of the other. So the way that we should order power, coercion, like
Oh,
that's what I'm thinking about.
like social democrats are a competitive theory, but like I said, they're kind of egalitarian usually.
And they would advocate that some minds, for the sake of the many, should be coerced or not be free.
Yeah, they believe that. Well, they don't believe. So this all goes back to like their conception of justice. So like the objectivist conception of justice, because it comes from egoism, maintains that like you shouldn't take from individuals, and the individuals like earn their money, and you don't have the right to steal from them. But if you're an egalitarian, you're going to believe you believe in the inequality or certain kinds of inequality should be minimized. It's like financial inequality and resource inequality and all these other things. And so they would endorse taking from producers and giving them to people who do not produce. It's like welfare schemes are like this, or progressive taxation is an example of that. But mainly welfare schemes. That's like usually what these people argue for.
I think the word "produce" is doing a lot of work. Like, does Jeff Bezos produce on your view?
Yeah.
Okay.
But even, I mean, it might be better to use a different verbiage. The whole point is they'll take from the haves and give them to like have-nots is the point, and they'll do it by force.
And you're not against that in principle, or
no? I am against that in principle. Like, because it's a kind of stealing.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know if we're in that society now, and but like, do you think there are people that have too much?
Yeah, but not in the sense that it's not as if people have too much. In that, like the too much is with respect to like what they should have given the ratio, the ideal ratio of their possessions to society's possessions. Like it's not that sense of too much. It's not like an excess deficiency too much. It'd be like, I think people have things that they don't earn. So like, I think there's a lot of corporations that are given handouts by the government. I don't think they earned the money. I don't think that they deserve to exist because they didn't earn their money. It was stolen from people and then given to them.
Okay, so let me so let's bring it back to the real world. And look, I'm not saying that you should do anything. Like, I'm very content in having a lot, and I don't want to give it up when I think I probably should. But you have millions of people around the world that die from preventable disease, that don't have access to shelter, water, food. Millions of people are that way, and in our country and outside of our country. Do you think that because what it looks like to me is that if I really care about those people, then I would take if I know that people aren't going to voluntarily help them, then I would resort to coercion in the optimal case. I'm just too weak-willed to campaign for that. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that there's areas of the world that could develop themselves. But I think the way you should evaluate this is first identifying like what is the explanation causally behind the disparity of resources between some countries and others, or the wealth of countries and others. And I think oftentimes the two primary explanations are what is the philosophy of the culture, and then what is the political system of the culture. And then I think that is a lot of the explanation behind the production of material wealth. And then I do think it is an objective value to benefit mankind as a whole. And if you want to do that, I think that could in principle be a moral thing. I think oftentimes it is. Like, it's not as if charity is morally wrong.
A moral thing to do what? A moral thing to do what?
It is a moral thing to be philanthropic and try to promote the well-being of others. But
yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to, so whatever the explanation is, I'm trying to take your explanation for why there are these millions of people dying because, you know, they don't have antibiotics that could otherwise fix their ailment. What I'm wondering is what to do from here.
Oh yeah.
If I know that people will not voluntarily do it,
oh sure,
then
yeah.
it just seems like that demands a kind of coercive element.
Well, I think you also have to evaluate like what these people are doing. Like, I don't think the underdeveloped countries in the world are just like doing their very best. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
think,
sure. But that goes along with what I'm saying is that there are many individuals, like private individuals will say that in other governments, right, that have, let's just say, failed with respect to what they owe to others.
Sure.
And we know that they're not, even the people that don't owe them anything are not going to voluntarily help when they can effortlessly do so. So then it just looks like coercion is on the table for me.
Yeah, I don't think it's on the table because I think the first level that you have to cross is like assigning responsibility. And like, I think if there's a group of people who are irresponsible, both as individuals or generally as a culture, as a nation, the prescription should not be, how can we take from people that are doing things good and give it to these people? Because the problem is not fundamentally the people not giving them resources. The problem is
let me use an analogy to illustrate why I think this might not matter, right? If a mother is neglecting their child's nutrition, right? The child's malnourished, right? And you know that, let's say you're unable to help them without Bob's money, and Bob has enough money to sustain himself, right? And so you have an option to let them continue to be malnourished, right? Or to steal from Bob to give to prevent malnourishment of the child. Now, it's going to be true that let's also stipulate the mother is capable of feeding the child and taking care of the child. And we know that she will continue neglecting the child, right? The fact that she's responsible for the child and that she can fulfill her responsibilities, the fact that I think that that doesn't matter, given that we know that she's not going to fulfill that responsibility.
It would matter in terms of I mean, in cases like in this one, like if you're responsible for the well-being of another person and then you're failing on your obligations, then I do think it's appropriate to use force to take that child out of your possession or something like that.
Well, but the hypothetical I've set up is that in order to save the child, right, because you're unable to do anything, let's say, but take from Bob that's the only feasible way to.
I think the hypothetical kind of arbitrarily stipulates something which is like not true of the way these.
Okay,
things
fair
work.
enough. But you would agree in that hypothetical, taking from Bob is okay.
No, I don't think it's Bob's. It's not Bob's responsibility. That child lives a good life.
You understand the hypothetical is that the only way to feed the child is to take from Bob.
Yeah.
And otherwise, the option is to allow the child to continue to be malnourished.
Mm-hmm.
And I would choose to take from Bob if I'm choosing between taking from Bob or letting the child go malnourished.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the way that, on my view, the way moral principles work is that my moral principles sanction the things that they do when you consider because they consider the whole context. So I mean, like it's like when you have a situation where you arbitrarily limit the options, it's like my moral principles are not. They don't evaluate like part of reality. They evaluate all of reality.
Okay, fine. But so are you just saying that like you're unable to make a choice in that situation because it's
Well, it's just, this isn't a situation. Is my point. Like the whole fact that there's a person with a child. I mean, when you even get to the perspective like Bob has a lot of money, like you count for all
a possible situation where you can even do it in terms of likelihoods, right? The best way, and you could do it in terms of epistemic possibility, right? For all they know, that it's the best way to help the child is to take from Bob to give to.
Yeah, but the moral goal is not just helping. Like the morality is not about helping children. That's not the primary purpose of morality.
Okay, forget about morality. I just want to know what you think you should do.
Well, that's not. You can't free. The morality is about what you should do. Like that's the point. Like the framing
always.
of moral.
I mean, not
the
always.
Framing of moral. Yeah, I think it is. The framing of moral dilemmas is not like it's improper to theorize moral dilemmas absent of the wider context. Like what is morality? What is its purpose? I think there is a morality of. There's a moral perspective on what you should do about taking care of children that are being neglected. That's right, but you can't answer those questions without understanding the presupposed context of what is morality about.
It just seems like a realistic case where someone can't help another except if they take from another person.
The whole point
it seems like people have been faced with that dilemma.
It's true. No, that's true. That there are cases where you cannot help certain people without taking from other people. I think that's right.
Okay.
That such cases could exist. My whole point is that the morality of the situation has to be understood with respect back to the fundamental moral principles of. Okay,
so
like
in
there's
situations, what is the right thing to do?
I think in the situation you gave me, I don't think the right thing is to take from somebody. I think that's wrong.
Okay, now, so then you should allow the child to starve.
No, I think you should take the child. If you have the resources necessary to take from Bob, you also have the resources necessary to take the child from the mother and take care for the child.
Are you saying that the hypothetical is incoherent if I were to stipulate that that's not feasible for you to do?
Well, part of it is that, yeah, I think there's embedded, there's like intentionally omitted factors that I think are relevant to evaluating the case in terms of realistically how this decision would work. Because
you can have it like some other guy put you in this position, and it's like, it's just a matter of lever pulling for you, right?
Well, the issue of being forced into a position also changes the morality and responsibility of a situation.
Fine, that's fine. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So you were forced in this position. I'm fine with that. What should you do?
I mean, if you're in the sense in which you're forced, it's like is somebody like what exactly is the force being used here? Like they forced you in a position where what happens if you don't do a certain action? Like, do you die, or do they steal something from you, or like?
Well, what does that? What does that matter?
Or you can.
That's what force is.
To a table, right? You're strapped to a table. The only thing you can do is pull a lever, or just choose not to pull it, right? Now, if you pull the lever, it's going to rob this guy to feed the child. And if you don't pull the lever, then the child just goes hungry or dies or whatever.
Okay. I don't understand the issue of force. Like you could, the force has nothing to do with the options you're making. Like you could in fact have done that regardless of being strapped to a table. Like the issue of force is relevant because it makes it so that your decision-making capability is undercut. Like the efficacy of your own decisions to put you in the position where you're at in the world is severed because people have used force against you. So it seems to me like even if you're not on the table, you can still like steal the money relevant from this person. Part of it is like, what exactly is the point you're trying to get at? Because if you're trying to evaluate a principle,
options are restricted. Well, because you were questioning, why couldn't you do something else?
Well, the point is to look at the principles. Like, what exactly is there supposed to be a tension, or what exactly are you trying to identify?
I'm not even trying to. So what I thought we'd agree on is that we should take, if we only are presented with those two options, we should take from Bob to save the child, and then I have to do the work to show us why we're in a similar situation. And
what principle would sanction that?
Whatever principle you want. I'm just wondering if we would agree on that.
Least harm. Just say least harm or something.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
It just seems like it's like a floating abstraction. Like it has nothing to do with the whole
Look,
I don't believe
you
in
and
making. Well, I don't
you and
believe
I
in.
might
My
be
whole point
getting
is that
to
I
that.
don't.
You and I might be getting to that conclusion very differently, but we
Yeah,
can
that's my
at
point.
least right. So if I think I should help a child rather than hurt them, for example, we can agree on that normative claim while not agreeing on the normative theory, right? So
Yeah, but
I
my
would
whole
just
point is that my whole point is that like I don't believe that you should steal from people to provide for other people unless there's an emergency. And this is like very
okay,
clearly not an
okay,
emergency.
yeah. Then it's an emergency here, right?
I mean, if you stipulate that it's an emergency, yeah, that's exactly my point, though. Like the rational thing to do here is not.
Did you not think it was the emergency? I didn't think I had to point out that it was an emergency. I think you would consider this situation.
No, but the whole point is that when you're applying principles to this situation, the first thing you should do is not, how can I steal somebody's money? The first thing you should do is take the child from the parent. That's step one.
I
It's not
agree.
as if,
I
right.
agree. Okay, that's fine. But in the hypothetical I presented, that option is blocked, and I think you would agree that we should
But
take from Bob.
When you say the option's blocked, in what way can you take? You understand? Like, what fact of reality would give rise to the situation where you can't take the child from the custody of the parent, but you can take from Bob and then use the money you take from Bob to give to the child?
To a table. I don't. This is why I gave you that whole thing, and you were confused why I was offering it.
Dude, honestly, this
restricted.
I mean, the whole
kind
point
of
is
just
it's
feels kind of feels like hypothetical dodging. Like, what is the point? Just say aliens will blow up the planet if you don't do one of those two options.
What is the
Why
point? What is the moral value in like
Why does it
evaluating a
matter? Why
hypothetical?
does it matter? That's
Why
what
does it
he's
matter the
asking
moral
you.
value? What?
No, why does it matter?
What's the value of the
how we
hypothetical?
stipulate it? Why does it matter?
Why does it matter the moral
question.
value of the hypothetical? Because if you're a fucking moral philosopher and you're interested in being a good person, which presumably you are,
Is what you're saying
hold
that-
on. I'm just going to clarify. The reason why it matters to evaluate the purpose of a hypothetical is because hypotheticals are not discontextualized situations where, and morality is not the kind of thing where you just discontextually answer questions. You have moral principles which evaluate the whole of moral context, including hypotheticals that are sophisticated and complicated.
You just keep asking.
That's not irrelevant. That's not irrelevant. I don't know why you think it's irrelevant. I don't know why you think it's irrelevant. This is literally why principles exist.
Why the option space is limited, though, and that can obviously be stipulated, right?
Well, the whole point is that you have to understand the nature of the hypothetical in order to relate the moral principles. Is the point.
Okay, but
you're saying that it's indeterminate. Like there's not enough information for you to make a decision there. In which case, then then for you and I to agree on what to do politically is going to be a lot more tricky.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is. But I'm about to say I'm gonna have to go into work, so I'm gonna have to cut this short. We can talk about this another time. But the point I'm making though is just that moral principles, right, are their generalizations about what kind of actions and what kind of ends are constant with living a good life.
If you have to go, fine. You made this point before. Before you go, here's why I brought up the analogy, and I could be wrong about this, but I am in a position to think that the feasible way of helping these millions of people is to take from people that have and don't want to give. Right now, I could be wrong about it, and then this becomes an empirical matter.
Well, it's true that it accomplishes that end. My whole point, though, is that the evaluation of that end in consideration with other ends and other means has to be done within the whole context. Which is why the hypothetical
But if I think that the other means are infeasible, or worse off morally speaking, let's say, then I think we progress. But if you have to go.
That's the point, though. You're presupposing the priority of the end, and that the end justifies the means. But that's what's up for debate, which is why we have to consult broader.
No, but what I think the importance of this analogy is that if I'm right that this is the best way to save the millions of people that die because of worms, right?
Sure.
Then you and I are still not going to see eye to eye. You would
because there's broader moral commitments. Yeah.
You would just have. It sounds like there's no political progress between you and I. Like it's just we're gonna have irreconcilable.
That's because we're not talking about fundamentals. We're talking about a case.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that there's no philosophical, as I see it, no philosophical dispute between us. You and I are just politically malaligned.
There is a philosophical dispute about what the priorities and purpose of political principles are supposed to be. Like the
I can grant all that, though, right? But the question,
that's the disagreement. That's why we're disagreeing.
No, I don't have to disagree with any of that. I could grant all that and just create a different category of values called Danny values and just prioritize that, right?
That's the whole point. We have a disagreement. That's what I'm saying. We have a disagreement of fundamental principles. That's what you're talking about.
Okay, so we're not saying.
That's saying like this is my point. Sorry, I'm literally walking, but
Well, how much time do you
this is
have?
my exactly my like 20 seconds. So I'm wrapping this up. So this is my point though. I'm saying whether we can, I agree with you that getting somebody's money is an effective instrument towards saving this child. The point though is just the morality of doing that and of prioritizing
But I'm
that
not just
over
saying
other
that.
things.
I'm saying that it's the best way, the most feasible way of doing that. Otherwise,
Instrumental,
at an extreme cost.
morally or instrumentally.
To me, those pretty much go in hand, both, right?
Yeah, okay. I realize
Okay.
you, but I don't think that's right.
But okay. Yeah, because to me, if any other route would just cost a lot more lives, and I care about those lives more than I care about the people that haves. And I think that's, you care about your principles more so than the people that are dying to this stupid stuff. In which case, there's not much for us to make. I mean, I don't see any progress to be made. I mean, I could cause you to change your values, but it wouldn't be through some sound argument that I'd give.
The thing I was frustrated by is, okay, I don't think it's a great criticism, but I'm fine with people saying, oh, these like abstract, unrealistic hypotheticals, they're just a waste of our time. Like just saying that those hypotheticals aren't a good use of our time. What I'm not fine with is like sort of obstructing the conversation by looking for some additional stipulations to the hypothetical to make it like realistic, to like try to keep getting the person to explain why those are the only two options and we can't do something else, when it's like obvious that the person is just interested in which of those two options you'd rather do.
Right. That was my thing, but it just sounds like he's saying it can't. There's no answer to the question, right? There's that kind of moral
It's
dilemma.
like the schnazzi is at your door asking, for the people you're hiding. Oh, I would just like tell him to go away. Like, okay, whatever.
But this is the thing with like, goes back to the philosophy stuff versus like the real world stuff. Like I just, there are things I care about, and I care about a lot of stuff that I think I shouldn't care about, though. Like I have conflicting values, but I think if I was a good person, I'd advocate, or do a lot of activism for the people that are just dying to worms in our country or outside of our country. Doesn't matter, right? Like there's something I think there's a big failure on the part of our race, the human race. Like it's a failure on my part. I don't know. I just feel it's when I dwell on it.
If by nonsensical, the person who's saying the hypothetical is nonsensical, if they mean it's like unrealistic or something, then I mean, why does that matter? Like the whole point is just to like test.
But it's not
like some sort of choice you'd make between these two options. It doesn't matter how you construct it, whether it's aliens that will blow up the planet if you don't choose one of those two, or if you're strapped down to a table and you can only pull a lever. Like it doesn't matter. Like whatever.
How we doing today, guys?
I gotta go, but I bet. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think he would agree with me, though. I think if we got past he wants to talk about normative ethics. I just want to talk about what do we do, right? Like,
yeah, but you can't talk about applied ethics without talking about normative ethics. You can't talk about normative ethics without talking about meta ethics. You can't talk about meta ethics without talking about metaphysics.
Yeah, what's good, guys? Your favorite, basic metaphysical realist here. If you're an anti-realist, you might be a little slow, but
Anti-realist about what?
No, I said it's your favorite metaphysical realist here. But that's just the common sense.
I think most people talk about applied ethics without ever thinking about meta ethics.
I think meta ethics and normative ethics are like orthogonal.
Is that the error that I know, or
so.
Oh yeah, it is the one. What's good, Eric, the truck driver?
You're saying the dot product between meta ethics and normative ethics is 0?
The idea is that
eating on mic. The fuck is going on?
it's that you can sort of like have any normative view with any meta-ethical view, or any applied ethical view with any meta-ethical view.
Sorry, what was that? What was that, Jack? Can you say that one more time?
Like, in other words, whatever your meta-ethical view is doesn't dictate what your normative ethical or applied ethical view is, right?
That's not always true, though.
Yeah, like if you're like a
Yeah,
particular.
there are some edge cases, like an error theorist.
Yeah, I
an
mean-
error theorist might think all the applied ethical judgments are false or something.
Like particulars.
Yeah,
are
but
very
you could just be a
general.
fictionalist.
Divine command theories.
No, but like particularism versus generalism is like a meta-ethical debate. But like it can be a particular.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's a normative ethical. It's normative ethics.
No, it's well.
me when I walk in the room and I hear an utterance blunder.
Well, I take. I mean, maybe we just take normative ethics to be differently solid. But I just take normative ethics specifically be answering what actions ought we to do, which actions are good or bad. Whereas meta-ethical questions are just questions about morality, not specifically which actions are good or bad. And the particularism debate is just is morality principle governed or not? So I take that to be like a
Just think about the typical normative ethical positions like deontology and utilitarianism, right? Like they don't tell you what counts as a util or which specific deontic commitments to hold. You know what I mean? So like that's I would say it's normative ethics, but.
I'm pretty sure standardly it's regarded as like a meta-ethical dispute as well.
I'm kind of making a general point that sort of like second order theories are kind of like don't actually have consequences for first order theories. So this is not even a claim that would be confined to like meta-ethics versus ethics, right? It would be like philosophy of science versus science, or any domain.
Yeah, I agree with you that a meta-ethical theory is not going to commit you to a particular applied ethical judgment, right? Something like that. But there are like tricky cases where like if you're an error theorist meta-ethically, then you're committed to the negations of all the first order judgments, right? You're going to think they're all false, right? It doesn't commit you to any of them being true, though, right? So you're still right, but there's just like some tricky.
I think the issue there is though. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I think the issue there is that's not fully engaging with what it is that I'm saying, because I'm saying something like, look, whether or not you're an error theorist, like if you're an error theorist, right? There's still going to be considerations about what you ought and ought not do, right? You're just not going to mean something like robust or absolute or something like that, right? And so the question as to what that is, what the content is that I ought to do, right, will not be affected by your meta-ethical theory.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. According to
I think that's
in Phil Papers, it says moral generalism and particularism are two positions in meta-ethics, which have different views regarding the relation between moral thoughts and principles. And ChatGPT says the particularism versus generalism debate is a primary dispute within meta-ethics.
Yeah, I think there's you could sort of have different understanding of what meta-ethics and normative ethics are, because it does sort of seem like in some ways the particularism generalism debate kind of like straddles the line, but I'm not really sure. I'm just saying, like I'm just talking about particular ethical judgments, right? It's kind of
No, I understand your point was about like the second order, first order, but like if you're more talking meta-ethical, as in it's used by philosophers. Generally, that debate is understood like a metaphysical debate, and that would have, like the generalism versus particularism, would have consequences or implications for what first order views you have.
Can you send me that Bill Papers link you found? Because like I had a whole, there was a whole saga where I was asking everybody what they thought about this, and it seemed like the consensus landed around something like that it's normative ethics.
I can give you a reason. I can give you a reason to think of it as kind of like a meta-ethical issue, right? Because, like, for instance, if you thought that normative facts were non-law-like, right? Then you might think that the relation between the non-normative facts and the normative facts could not be captured by a principle. And so that would commit you to a kind of particularism, right? And that just seems like a purely meta-ethical set of considerations, right?
Wait, could you say that one more time?
Yeah, so like if you thought that normative facts were non-law-like, right, then it would follow that the relation between the non-normative facts and the normative facts was one which could not be captured by a principle.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
And that seems like a purely meta-ethical set of considerations, right? And so that's one reason why I think somebody might think that the particularism generalism debate is a meta-ethical question and not a normative question, even though it's like very easy to understand why you might think of it as just a normative question, right? Because it's kind of like, you know, if you're rejecting utilitarianism or deontology because it's principled, then that just seems like you're in the domain of a normative ethical debate. You know?
Right. So I mean, couldn't an ethical principle be purely normative though? Like it doesn't have to be the sort of thing that relates non-normative facts to normative.
I'm granting that. I'm just saying that if you were engaged in a certain type of metaphysical theorizing about normativity, it seems like you could actually derive particularism just from those metaphysical considerations. And if that were the case, then it seems like you'd be engaged in purely metaethical theorizing.
But couldn't you make a similar argument for something like utilitarianism also being metaethics then? Like, oh, maybe I can get to utilitarianism from certain metaphysical assumptions or something like that, maybe.
It's possible. I haven't really thought about it, but wouldn't want to put my foot down and say no.
Yeah, it might be a look and see. I mean, I'm interested in reading what you found on it though, because I was very interested in this question for a while, and I thought I had it kind of settled, but maybe I should question myself a bit more.
Wait, I'll send it to you right now on Discord.
Tell Detroyer. Sorry, it looks like Detroyer is active. Let me try to invite him there.
I think Detroyer agreed with me that it was normative ethics, but maybe he's changed his mind on that too. Be interested in what his thoughts are.
Oh my god, my voice is dying, bro. Holy shit. Yo, Venus.
Yeah, what's up?
How you feel about relaxalism?
I think you asked me that before, haven't you?
I don't remember.
I'm still trying to understand the full view of how it doesn't collapse into quasi-realism. But I haven't read much of Parfit or the other people.
Wait, Venus. I have a question. What's your like? Why is it a problem for a theist to accept accept like global moral skepticism or something? You know, like when you talk about the logical problem of evil, and then they invoke skeptical theism, and then you say that it leads to like global skepticism about morality. What's the problem with that?
Sorry, could you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, so like when you're arguing with a theist and you're invoking the logical problem of evil and they respond with skeptical theism, usually people say that that leads to like global skepticism with regards to morality. So I'm kind of wondering what's the issue with a theist
I see.
accepting global skepticism?
Well, there's two things. One, skeptical theism isn't a reply to the logical problem. It's a reply to the evidential one. It's not really relevant to logical ones. And
Yeah.
and as for the skepticism, it's not merely global skepticism of morality. It's global skepticism simpliciter. That's what happens when you open Pandora's box.
Oh, I see. Can you explain to me how you go from it not just being moral skepticism and it also leads to like global skepticism? Like I'm forgetting how you make the jump. Are you just saying that like is it just like analogous, like the reasons as to why we'd be skeptical about one and the other, or?
The idea is just that you, if you're a skeptical theist, you're committed to the view that your moral judgments are not reliable, right? If you think that apparent gratuitous evils are not actually evils because God has sufficient reason for permitting them, and so therefore they're not gratuitous, right? But if that's the case, then you're not in a position to say that it's inconsistent with God's moral character to do anything really, including deceive you about, the external world, or deceive you about, almost any judgment.
I
And
see.
so that's why it would generate a skeptical worry.
Yeah, okay. And then presumably the issue there is, are you going to like try to derive a contradiction by saying that they have certain commitments that lead them to the conclusion of theism, but they also have to be skeptical about those very commitments? Like you don't think there's a way around that for them?
I don't know. I mean, it could be. So there's like this issue that arises in the evolutionary argument against naturalism, which is this idea that if you accept that, if the conclusion of the argument is supposed to be that if you're a naturalist, you ought to think that your cognitive faculties are unreliable. But then, if your cognitive faculties are unreliable, it seems like that gives you reason to doubt the reasoning that led you to that conclusion. And so you're sort of like caught in this loop. Right?
Yeah, it's like a paralysis objection.
Yeah. And so it could be that will be true of skeptical theism too, right? That if you come to think that your cognitive faculties are unreliable, then the argument that led you to come to believe that will be put in doubt. But then, of course, if you think your cognitive faculties are reliable, then the argument goes through, right? So it's not really clear, like, how to contain the skepticism.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If there's like a way for them to contain it by saying that, like, humans have always been like maybe like morally limited in a sense, but like there's no reason for God to make us like epistemically limited and like about tricking us about the external world. But I don't know if there's a coherent way to do that for the theist.
I think the way for them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I haven't really like looked at a lot of literature, so I mean, it seems like a lot of people seem to think there's a way to make skeptical theism work. I haven't really, I don't really understand why they think that, but maybe there is like some kind of reasoning. But I think that the only way out that is clear to me is if they just sort of like more shift against the argument. But I think if they do that, they're basically giving up on the idea that there's evidential support for their belief in God. And so I take that to be like apologetically like a bad move.
Yeah, and can you clarify what specific part they would be like Morian shifting on?
They're gonna say that it's like a basic belief that God wouldn't deceive them about certain things, right? But the point is, they don't have any way of justifying that, right?
Yeah.
They're just gonna say, they can make it into like almost like a foundational principle. God wouldn't deceive me about X, Y, and Z, right? But it's just not really clear why, right? So they just have to sort of like double down.
But Jack, couldn't they take it to be like a hinge commitment or something, or?
Yeah, they could take it to be a hinge, but I guess the problem is that if they could move it into the, well, the problem is there a reason why it couldn't actually be moved into the foreground and evaluated? And if it could be, then it seems like you could just ask, well, what could possibly justify this?
Jack, can I ask you your thoughts on the Ollie's orange example that's used?
Yeah.
I think by Stephen Law. So I had this like enhanced version of that thought experiment, basically, where instead of a projector, imagine that it's like a transparent screen that's right in front of your eyes, and it makes it look like there's an orange on the table, right? And then just imagine that screen moving back towards the table and wrapping around an actual orange, right? So that its surface reflects the same light that it would have if the screen wasn't there, and so forth. And like the weird thing is that there's a question about whether if all perception is Gettier-ized by that kind of thought experiment, where it's like there is no difference between looking at an actual orange and looking at an orange that has like this, screen wrapped around it, so to speak.
I'm not sure I have an answer.
Wait, what was the question?
The idea is you extend the projector analogy with the orange, right? And you say, like, imagine, there's a hologram on a screen that's right in front of your face, but it makes it look like there's an orange on the table, And then you imagine that screen moving back towards the table, okay? Still looks like there's an orange there. And then imagine there actually is an orange on the table as well, right? And this screen wraps around that orange. And it's what you're seeing is actually the projection of the screen wrapped around the surface of the orange, but it looks exactly the same as if it weren't there,
Okay, and what's the question?
The question is if that's like a coherent thought, does that mean that all perception is Gettier-ized by that kind of case, Or do you have to admit that it's like possible or something to get that,
Why would all cases be Gettier-ized?
All cases of perceptual knowledge, right, where you're looking at an orange, because this screen would look exactly the same as what you're seeing, right? There would be no perceptual difference between the two situations.
Wait, is the idea that you're looking at the screen, but there is also like an orange behind the screen or something, and the belief you're forming is there's an orange there or something?
Yes.
Okay, and how would what is being generalized to all perceptual knowledge? Are you like in a scenario where everything is a screen or something?
Well, the point that I'm saying, like, I'm starting out the case where the screen's like in front of your face, you know, and so it's very clearly like a hologram or something like that. But then the screen moves back to where the orange, right? And so
It
the
moves
orange,
away.
the screen is now it's projecting the same like photons that the surface of the orange does, right?
Okay.
See what I'm saying? And so the point is that like it would look exactly the same as the orange does, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is like, well, if you can't tell the difference between those two cases, then you know you're not going to be able to tell the difference in any case, right? Of perceptual knowledge, right? So if anything I'm looking at, I'm perceiving, right? I could just be looking at this kind of screen, right?
Yeah, but that's not what Getterized is. The possibility doesn't give you. It's the mere possibility is not a Gettier case. Like the idea of the Gettier case is, it's supposed to be that the justification is a matter of luck, or like the truth. It's true as a matter of luck.
Right. I understand, right? So like that's at the beginning of this thought experiment. That is the case, right? Because you know you're looking at the screen. There happens to be an orange there, right? But what you're seeing is actually the screen, right?
Right. You're just asking
See
if
what I'm getting
everything's just a projection, but you know, there's also happens to be an external world, even though the external world is just a projection.
Well, the idea is that there's never going to be so the case where there's a screen right in front of your face and there happens to be an orange behind it. Maybe in that kind of case, you know, you could move and like notice the screen, right? But in the case where the screen is like wrapped around the object, so that it's projecting the same light that the surface of the object would have reflected, right?
Right. So yeah, that could just be the case with everything in the world.
Right, or at the very least, like, there's no empirical way to know the difference between those two, right?
Right. This seems it seems like I've read an article similar to this. It's just like I think they call it like the new evil demon problem for externalists or something, where it's like, you know, yeah, there could be an evil demon that's, you know, insert skeptical scenario, and that it is really the case that there's an external world, but he just had the, you know, shits and giggles to make everything a Gettier case. So everything in theory is Gettierized, right? Something like that.
No, that's not what the new demon problem is supposed to be. The new demon problem is just imagine you and your twin who's in the demon world, and you're like identical with respect to like your mental states. But in the demon world, obviously, the demon is actively deceiving your twin. You know, maybe it's putting a screen or whatever to your twin, but you and your twin are identical, at least identical with respect to your mental states. And so if externalism is true, you're going to be justified and your twin is not going to be justified. But that seems counterintuitive because people just have the strong intuition that if you're justified, then your twin is justified. And so that's supposed to count in favor against externalism. Because externalist accounts usually are historical about justification. It's how you came to have the justification is depends on like the causal history of how your beliefs were formed. And so if the history differs, you can have two people in two possible worlds who are identical with respect to their mental states, but their histories are different. So one could have most of their beliefs justified and the other can't. And that's supposed to be counterintuitive. So that's like the new...
You're speaking of the evil demon problem that's on the Internet Encyclopedia philosophy, right?
I'm just talking about like the new evil demon problem as a scenario. That's what it's supposed to be against externalism. Well, that's why it was like original.
Yeah. I think the one that you're speaking of, if I'm not mistaken, I think that it's one that was uploaded to the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy at least like a couple decades ago, right?
Are you saying? I don't know what you're talking about. The Internet Encyclopedia. Maybe there's an entry on the Internet Encyclopedia.
Yeah, I think there is, because the specific one that I was speaking of, I don't think it was that one. We might be speaking about different
Oh,
things, but I think that.
I see what you mean. No, I'm just talking about the thought experiment itself. It was proposed by
Mhm.
Cohen, and it's against externalism.
Yeah,
Specifically against
I think I
reliability.
remember that one. I'm almost positive that there's an entry that was originally like on the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. I'm pretty sure that that's the one you're talking about. Yeah, okay, I have read that one. And are you saying that in this hypothetical that it just boils down to like the intuition that people get in like thinking that one would be justified and not, or was there a further point beyond the intuition?
No, like originally Cohen just it was just about the intuition. Like he just thinks it's
Hmm.
most people are gonna find it intuitive that if you and your
Hmm.
twin are identical, then you should both be justified. That was supposed to be the thought experiment. I don't have that. I don't have
Hmm.
that intuition though, but apparently,
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Are you not an internalist?
am I not internal? Well, I'm an externalist about knowledge. I might be an internalist about justification.
Hmm.
I don't
Okay.
think I don't think justification is identical to warrant.
Oh, okay.
Do you think it's a requirement of knowledge, or
No, I don't think it's identical to warrant. Warrant is usually what turns true belief into knowledge, and a lot of people think that's justification. I don't think justification is just a necessary condition for knowledge. But whether there's such a thing as justification or not, I'm open that there might be such a thing as justification.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw today's episode of Invincible. That was pretty good. I've read the Zagzebski paper, The Inescapability of Gerikis. I think I've read it like 3 times. It's like a classical paper in the literature. It's like one of the most famous papers. I think one of the most cited papers.
Do you agree with the argument? Do you think that Gettier cases are inescapable?
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
I think they're inescapable for maybe internalism.
Hmm.
yeah, I'm kind of inclined to treat Gettier as knowledge, maybe with an asterisk or something, but I don't know. It seems like it's okay by my lights, to count it as knowledge in the Gettier case, but you know Fitch's paradox, Venus.
Don't know what?
Fitch's paradox.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I remember I tried asking Jack about this at one point a while ago. I think he was super busy, and I don't know if he's still there, but because that's supposed to be a problem for like pragmatism or people that deny kind of like epistemic realism, views where like truth and knowledge are conceptually connected very strongly.
This idea of like a superset?
The idea is like, okay, so take something like Peirce pragmatism, where he says like, truth is that which survives an endless ideal inquiry, or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that case, it seems in principle all truths are knowable, right? Because like, the meaning of truth is tied to epistemic inquiry. So basically, it would be incoherent to suggest there's some like unknowable truth under that definition. And the Fitch paradox runs off of saying that all truths are knowable, but there are some unknown truths. So there are some truths that nobody knows, and that's by the proof entails a contradiction.
But it's through some kind of superset, right?
I mean, maybe, depending on what you mean by that, because the way the proof runs is say there's an instance of an unknown truth, right? That means the conjunction P and P is not known is true. But if that conjunction is true and knowable, then we're saying there's a possible world where somebody knows that P and P is not known, right? And that's supposed to be how you get the contradiction, is that like P is known and it's not known, right?
Wait, how is this supposed to be not a problem, only a problem for pragmatism?
I'm not saying it's a problem for pragmatism. It's supposed to be a problem for views that commit you to the knowability principle, which is to say that all truths are knowable.
All truths are knowable.
Right. And then it's saying, KP and non-O, which is like non-omniscience. So like there is at least one unknown truth, right? Those two together entail a contradiction. I think Oppie uses a similar structured argument when he's arguing that the weak PSR entails the strong PSR. His argument for that is very similar to the Fitch proof, and I think he even acknowledged that in the paper.
I think he does.
But yeah, it's like, so it's this conjunction of there's something that's true and it's not known, right? And if that conjunction is true and all truths are knowable, then that conjunction is knowable, right? But that conjunction is impossible to know, right? So I mean, broadly, the idea is to say that the knowability principle is problematic. And that's why views that can't accommodate unknowable truth face this problem, right? Does that make sense, Venus?
One more time?
It's supposed to be a problem for views about truth that can't accommodate unknowable truths, right? So if the view commits you to the knowability principle, that's where it's supposed to be a problem.
No, I get why it's a problem now. It just strikes me as there's like an easy work around it.
Yeah, I mean, there are responses to it. But the issue is like the proof is pretty straightforward. It's actually one of the more simple proofs that you'll find, So it's like there's a bunch of fairly plausible assumptions that it uses, and so you end up having to deny at least one of them if you want to keep KP and non-O together and not get a contradiction,
So the paradox is supposed to be something like, if the knowability principle is true, then all truths are known?
Yes. By somebody at some time.
And then are you supposed to be what that's wrong? Because, I mean, is a contradiction supposed to be that there are truths that no one knows, but that's also not the case if you accept the knowability principle? Is that why it's called like a paradox?
Oh, you're a little. I mean, the reason it's called a paradox is that it seems unintuitive that just by saying all truths are knowable, that you can derive all truths are in fact known by somebody at some time. It's supposed to be counterintuitive that you can even do that derivation, and that's why it's called a paradox.
Venus.
So it's supposed to. So it's not actually like a paradox. It just has counterintuitive. It just counterintuitive. Yo, what's going on, Carter?
What's going on, buddy?
We're just talking about what we call Fick's paradox. Fick's.
MashaAllah, bro. But Venus, what's with this terrible background sound, bro?
What?
It sounds like you're in Burger King right now, bro.
Sounds like I'm in where?
Burger King.
No, I'm not in Burger King. I wish I was in Burger King.
Yo, you need to come to London and we'll go get some lamb mandi and some lamb khamis.
Do they have Burger King in London?
Yeah, they have Burger King in all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what we have in London. We actually, a lot of American chains have been opening recently. We have
I
Chick-fil-A.
think they have Walmart in London now.
And we have Dave's Hot Chicken. You know, we have a lot.
There's Walmart in London?
Yeah, I think so.
Nah, he's chatting shit, but we don't have Walmart.
No. I'm not. Let's see. Walmart in England.
Buddy,
I
you're
thought
chatting
that there was like another chain that's like owned by Walmart. That see, I remember looking into this at one point. There's some.
Yeah, you're talking about. Sorry, there's no Walmart in England. My bad. I thought
You're
there
thinking
was.
are you thinking about Costco?
But you're talking about Asda, which is owned by Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But that was originally German, and I think.
Right, it
Walmart
was originally German, and that's all over Europe, right? And so it's sort of the reason why there's no Walmart in Europe. Or there didn't used to be anyway.
I've been to like Walmart once in my life, but to be honest, I prefer Tesco.
Wait, where were you at Walmart? Where was the Walmart?
I think we were in Pennsylvania.
Oh, in the United States. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Pennsylvania, Florida. Planning to go to Louisiana this year, actually.
I think every European country has McDonald's and Walmart and Burger King.
100%. Yeah.
I think I saw McDonald's in Russia.
Yeah, they have McDonald's in Russia since the Soviet Union, actually.
Oh, really?
I think a year before the wall came down, McDonald's opened in the Soviet Union. Haven't you seen that video? McDonald's opens in the Soviet Union, and there's like these huge lines.
No.
Hey, Jack, what's your opinion on Peter Scully?
On what?
You know the guy that directed Daisy's Destruction?
Peter Scully. Is that the name?
Yeah.
I never saw anything that he directed.
You know that guy is cooked, bro.
Why?
Search him up. Search him up later, bro. You'll understand why.
Oh, really?
I can't speak about it.
Wait, Sully is
Jack,
the...
do you know who Uwe Boll is? I assume you know who that is.
Yeah. But his films, I think, are supposed to be trash. I've never seen anything that he did. Yeah.
Actually, I watched
He did everything he did was like money laundering, I guess, or some kind of scam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a pretty interesting guy, though.
Watched a movie yesterday called Speak No Evil. It was like okay, actually.
Speak No Evil. Who directed that?
I'm not sure actually.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
I mean, it was a remake. This one was released in 2024, but they had made one just prior to that. But
it's a Danish movie, right?
I think the original is, yeah. I've been getting into horrors recently, though.
I've been getting into Korean horrors.
I did watch one Korean.
There is a good
horror. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jack.
Well, not horror movies per se, but like movies like Old Boy.
Like psychological thrillers.
I like the I like the producers of Old Boy. There's like a lot of other movies.
But that guy's an amazing director, Park Chan-wook.
Have you ever considered getting involved in filmmaking, Jack, or is it more of just like...
Not in recent years.
I mean, you could do some like fake taxi with Sully, maybe.
Some what?
You could do like some fake taxi with Sully.
You and Sully could produce a movie about sprinklers. Wait, Sully is the fit thing. How do you say his name? Fitch.
I watched this really weird Korean movie about a rock. You know, basically they
I
find.
confuse him with Fichte, which is another philosopher.
Fichte.
Yeah, that's supposed to be like a German idealist, right?
Yes.
He was like a roommate with Hegel, I think.
It sounded very.
They were three. They were
Logician, I think.
They were
Because he
three,
did like
right?
Fitch neutral deduction and all that.
It was Hegel, Fichte, and one more. They were
Schelling.
and Schelling. Yeah. Wait, so is it supposed to be this statement is true but no one knows it that generates the paradox?
Yeah, so that's the condition that there is some truth that's unknown, right?
But is it supposed to? Is like to get the entailment? Is it necessarily that you rely on like a self-referential statement?
Well, I'm not sure it's a self-referential statement.
Well, this statement, anything that has this statement, is
it doesn't say this statement. It just says P, right? So the conjunction is P and not KP. KP there meaning like P is known, right?
Doesn't the K not P just mean this statement is not known? Does that make it self-referential?
No. So here, I'll just write it in chat. It's like P, not KP, like that.
Yeah, but I'm saying not
it deleted it.
any statement with like the K is going to be self-referential because K there just means this is known, right?
It means somebody knows it at some time, yeah. But that's not. I mean, that's not self-referential, right? It's just predicated over
this statement. Isn't this statement is known? Isn't that self-referential?
The proposition is not an indexical, right? It's just some arbitrary proposition that nobody knows, right? It could be anything. It could be like the number of atoms. The number of atoms in the universe is such and such, you know.
The number of atoms is such and such, and somebody knows that numbers of atoms is such and such. Is that
No, and it's not known.
And it's not okay.
The number of atoms is such and such.
Goodness, by the way, did you finish JJK?
Like the anime? Yeah.
Yeah, but that final episode was phenomenal, bro. But you know what I'm waiting for, bro? I'm waiting for the final adaptation of Thousand Year Blood War. Shit, it's gonna go crazy, bro. Yeah, I'm kind of drunk right now, bro. I'm just because it was warm in London today, but I've been outside for hours, bro, just drinking.
Yeah, brother.
Yo, Sully, you're friends with Vienna, right?
I mean, I know I'm acquaintances with Vienna, I guess. I know Vienna.
Bro, Vienna makes me laugh, bro, because he's always like, yeah, you know, I was in Clubhouse and I like beat Sully and I beat this guy and that guy, and I'm like, okay, what are we saying?
Yeah, I've gotten kind of sick of all the debate bro stuff. So, I mean,
that shit is
kind of
crazy.
why I avoid those guys because I don't know. I'm not really into the whole dick measuring contest all the time anymore. You know.
You seem chill, bro. This is why I fuck with Venus, bro. Because Venus, most of these lives he creates, it's very chill. You don't have that like Spurg anime debate and stuff, bro.
Yeah, it's just exhausting after a while.
Vienna, he's basically like a troll.
Yeah, I think he is a troll, to be honest. Someone put Vienna told me he dunked on Sully on meta-ontology and epistemology.
Well, it was always him and Arianis like together in a room, and they try to get you in there and start a random argument about something so they can get content out of it. You know, it's just annoying.
Bro, Arianis is finished, bro. He deleted his channel recently.
He did?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a while. I blocked him, and I was just like,
you know what the recent exposure?
Something about young boys or like teenage boys or something that he.
was like flirting with, or what? I forget the details.
I mean,
Something like that, right?
It's that in conjunction with like previous allegations. So, I mean, so basically, I think it was last year they released like an exchange between him and this girl, whom he knew was a minor, and he kept pursuing her. And when the girl finally said, look, I can't do this anymore, he was like, wait, I'm gonna unalive myself, and
Oh my god.
I can't live without you, and like just all that kind of like manipulation, and that reemerged recently with other allegations. Basically, yeah, like him and young boys. I mean, like he is openly bisexual though.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
I think he's into femboys.
Yeah, I think that's why him and Nightclaw are good friends, bro. That's like the only
But I
common
think this time it's supposedly really bad because Arianas deleted like his YouTube channel and just deleted all his internet presence.
Arianas' life is very mysterious. I was never able to sort of like figure it out because he was always like very deceptive. But like, didn't he at one point, didn't it seem like he had a job at one point?
Yeah, I could never really tell. I mean, he claimed to, obviously, but
yeah,
it's hard to know. I mean, did you guys believe this whole thing? Because he claimed that there was this person who called into C-SPAN and did like a Trump.
Oh yeah.
Right?
No, I
And it
think
blew
that
up.
was him. I think that was
he said
him.
it was him. I
Yeah.
don't know if I believe it was him though. You know.
Well, I thought there were a couple of telltale. Well, first of all, he does a very good Trump impression. So.
Right. And he called into, I think, like Tom Hartman or somebody. He called into another show where I believe that one is him. But I don't know if the original.
Oh,
one
so
is,
maybe
or he's
not
just
the
taking credit
original.
for it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see what you're
C-SPAN one,
saying.
he doesn't say anything.
Oh, I
that,
see.
like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I heard the first one, I told Whitney, I was like, that's not Arianas. But then I heard some subsequent one, and I said, that is Arianas, and I thought, oh, so I guess I must be wrong. It must be the same person. But it didn't occur to me that maybe he was just taking credit for the first one, and then subsequently did actually call. So maybe I'm in a funny way vindicated. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still totally unsure, but yeah.
Right, yeah, so maybe that's what happened.
I think Arianas was in school, but he had to drop out because he had like a pretty bad case of borderlines. Personality disorder. So he would just like, that would cause him like challenges, I think. So at times he would be occupied and at times.
But I started to think that a lot of stuff that I had sort of like accepted were just like a bunch of lies, and so that made me doubt some of the other things. Like for instance, he lied about having a girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, and so then I thought, well, maybe he's lying about being in school. You know what I mean?
Well, dude,
Like-
look, he even catfished on his Twitter, bro. If you remember, like he had this like young Spanish twink, and he was posing as that guy for like a while.
Yeah, and I remember him telling me that he was like, having this. He had this kind of like on-run relationship with some boy or femboy, and I thought, okay, well, I guess it kind of makes sense. But now I kind of wonder, like there was so much lying that I began to think that almost anything could be a lie. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, Arianas would be pretty likable, like if he didn't do all this other nonsense.
yeah, I used to like. You know, it's kind of funny that Arianas and Sully, I think of them as both dating back to the T-Jump server, because I think that's where I first encountered them, was when they were denizens of the T-Jump server.
Those were the days. I was just looking through old stuff from back then because I was trying to find this conversation I had with T-Jump because
Sully was a mob back then.
Yeah, I was.
I think Arianas was too.
Yeah, I think we both were. Because Lance Bush was asking like, should I have a conversation with T Jump, and I was like, no, that's going to be a complete waste of time. And so I was trying to dig up this conversation that I had with him years ago, and I did find it. But yeah, I was finding all this old Ariana stuff too from back then. It's pretty funny.
It'd be interesting if Lance Bush engaged more in philosophy of religion.
I think he does on his
I mean,
Substack. doesn't he?
I think he does do it on his Substack, and I think it might be good for him to actually talk to some of these people because, it's kind of like I'm to some extent sympathetic. I'm sympathetic to a lot of his views in metaethics, but some of the stuff that he does just seems kind of tiresome, right? Like the stuff about intuitions and stuff about, he's an eliminativist about mental states and all this. And I just kind of feel like it just seems so silly, whereas, I saw him post something on his Substack about fine tuning. And I thought, yeah, it would be interesting to see him like engage on this, like with somebody who's actually like sophisticated.
I think I saw him write something on the harmony stuff.
Right. Oh, but yeah, although given his views on philosophy of mind, if you're an eliminativist about the mind, then that's one way to resist the psychophysical.
I find that like a lot of his stuff goes back to this like weird interpretation of Wittgenstein, where like he's basically, I mean, maybe just forget about Wittgenstein, but like Lance is basically like a behaviorist.
Right, exactly.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff, I think that they take it to an extreme where it's like, language is really just us like, making mouth sounds at each other to prompt behaviors. And
Yes,
it's all there
exactly.
is to it. It's just, yeah, it kind of, it makes everything fairly shallow.
Exactly. So if he was able to get off of that horse, and because I think he's very good in certain contexts, so I think maybe philosophy of religion, he might actually be able to be good in that context.
Oh, bro, I'm so cooked right now.
Have you read the new?
That would be a bit. Sorry.
Have you guys read the new nomological harmony stuff? Like
Wait,
25?
there's another one?
You're talking about.
Or are you just talking about the original? Oh, Joe Schmidt one?
No,
This is like a literature review, really. Like he's not.
it's what is it called? The problem. It's what was it? It's by Cutter. The problem of nomological harmony.
But that's the original paper, right?
Yeah, that's from before Psychophysical Harmony.
Is it?
Right. Yeah, that's the original paper.
Which one is the 2024 one?
No, I think that's Psychophysical Harmony.
No, the problem of nomological harmony is 2024. The psychophysical harmony one is 2021, 2022.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Look. Let me show you. Oh wait, maybe you guys are right. Wait, is the psychophysical harmony a new argument from 2025? I thought it was like older than that. Now let me raise you up. I'm getting on
No. Psychophysical Harmony is 2025.
Yeah, psychophysical harmony is 2025, and the problem of nomological harmony is 2024. But I thought the psychophysical harmony was older than 2025.
I don't. So, as an argument in the way that they present it, I don't think it's older. They do cite some other papers in that paper that talk about harmony, right? like as a thing, but they don't make this argument.
Well, is the problem on? You don't need to read that one, right? If you read the psychophysical harmony one, or is it like a different kind of argument?
Talking about the nonological.
No, the problem of nomological argument, is that supposed to be a different argument?
It's a different argument. Yeah, it's about the stuff that exists corresponding with the laws that exist. Right. So it's actually
Exactly, is that? Yeah. What does it even mean? I've never read this paper. So what do they mean when they say that something corresponds with the laws?
So let's think about it like so. Basically, they offer like prioritist solutions out of this, where you might think that like they don't actually come apart, but like assuming that the laws come apart from stuff that those laws govern, right? The idea would be like think about like a chess game, but there's some piece for which like the game doesn't specify the rules, right? Or you could think like there's a bunch of alien physical stuff that doesn't exist in our universe, but it could have existed, and if the laws are exhausted by what we think they are, then there aren't laws that govern that sort of stuff. So like the idea is something like there's a harmony between the set of rules and like the stuff governed by the rules, if that makes sense.
So the idea is that there could be things that just are governed by no rules. Is that the idea? Or they're just governed by alien rules?
Both are possible, I guess. So, like, we could imagine that there are electrons, but there isn't like a law that governs the behavior of electrons, right? And maybe you'd want to say something like they just behave randomly or chaotically or something, or they wouldn't do anything. That's another possibility that I think Joe Schmidt talks about. Is that if there were no laws for the behavior of stuff, you could imagine like a world being like quote unquote stillborn. So like there's a bunch of stuff there, but there are no rules about like what it does, so it just doesn't do anything. And there are rules for things that don't exist in that world that don't attach to anything that's instantiated.
So, do they think there could be evidence for things like that?
That I'm not so sure.
The reason why I'm asking that is because if you're not a transcendental realist, right, you're going to think that what it is to say that there is a thing is to say that it would have certain effects given its existence, right? At least potential effects, right? But like if there's no actual rules, what does it even mean to say that if it existed, it would have these effects? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, so the Joe Schmidt paper is a bit more neutral, where he just goes through, here's what the problem is supposed to be, here's a bunch of ways you could potentially solve it, and then maybe like some worries for those different ways. And I think what you're talking about, and what I would probably favor too, is like a prioritist solution, where, it's the dispositions of the stuff that explains the laws. It's they're separable in this way. But basically, I think this argument is weaker than the psychophysical harmony argument, because it's a little weirder in terms of the concepts. But basically, they're doing the same thing, where they're just saying like these are conceptual possibilities or epistemic possibilities, and we're reasoning like Bayesians a priori about them, which I obviously think is silly too. But they're basically saying like there's room in conceptual space for these other ways that things could have been, or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of thought that there was a prioritist response possible in the psychophysical harmony argument, at least with respect. I don't know if it's true of everything that they raise, so it might not actually amount to very much as a way to resist the argument, but I was trying to think about what it could mean to imagine this kind of like counterpart world, right? That they sort of like propose, or that would be implied by what they're would be implied as by what they propose. And I was thinking, well, it would be a world where you, if you, let's say, experience pain, you're not actually motivated to avert it, right? But, well, maybe I should say suffering, because I guess with pain, it could be argued that pain doesn't have built in the idea of it being aversive, right? So,
yeah, they just mean like it has a negative valence, like it feels bad or something like that.
right, but so like for me, the way that I understand suffering is that what suffering is something that you have a reason to avoid, right? You have an all else equal reason to avoid suffering, right? I just take that to be constitutive. And so I don't think there could be a possible world where it seems like what they're proposing is something where those two things can come apart. Right?
Well, they would actually probably agree with you about this part, because part of why they're saying like this is such a fortuitous harmony is that this like pain or suffering state rationalizes the behavior. Right? So like they're going to kind of agree with you that it's like.
But then, but if they're agreeing with me that that's a conceptual truth, then it's not. There isn't a possible world where those two things come apart, right?
So the reason givingness and the pain don't come apart, right?
No,
or
no.
The suffering.
No, but what I'm saying, yeah, those don't come apart. So what comes apart then?
It's like the functional states and the mental states, basically. So,
but here's where I think what I want to say about that. Now, I'm not sure this is going to really do much to resist their argument, because probably there are other issues. But, like, if I were to respond to their argument, this probably wouldn't be the main way I would go about it. But I was just trying to think about whether it was even intelligible, what they were saying. So when I say that there's a reason to do X, right, I understand that to mean that it's possible to do X, right? And so, because what implies can't, right? And so, aren't they suggesting that there could be a world where it's not possible?
It depends on which modality you're putting ought implies can in, I think.
Hey, what was the thing you said just now, Jay?
I was saying that I understand a reason to be something that it's possible to. Yeah. You only have reasons to do things that it's possible for you to do. Right? Yeah. Because ought implies can. Yeah. So it sounds like they're saying that you have a reason to avoid it, but you can't.
Yeah, I think they're not making this
Well,
the other
they'll
day.
agree that they'll agree there's a metaphysically possible world where you do that thing, where the pain does rationalize the aversive behavior, right? And you do both things. You have the
Didn't I
pain
make
and
this exact point to you the other day, Sully? Is it the same thing?
I don't know if it's exactly the same, but I am saying the same thing I said to you, which is that it depends on which modality ought implies can applies to.
Right, so they want to say it might be nomologically impossible, but metaphysically possible. Is that the idea?
Well, they might say there's a fact of the matter about what you do at each world, right? I don't know if that restricts possibility too much, though, right? So, to just say that, the idea is that, there's a metaphysically possible world and an epistemically possible world where you do the aversive behavior and it's rationalized by the suffering. As far as nomological goes, like it depends on how restrictive you're being with that too, right? So you might think nomological necessity just means that like the form of the laws of physics is held fixed, right? In which case, maybe it is also nomologically possible that you act in that way, right? Even if you don't, you know.
I thought the idea, though, was that they were imagining a counterpart world with different laws that relate the mental to the physical. Although I guess that's a whole other issue, right? Which Venus and I have discussed before, which is the Davidsonian point, right? Like if you don't actually think there are psychological or psychophysical laws, then how would they have to modify their argument?
Yeah,
I guess that's another issue.
But you guys aren't discussing the psychophysical harmony argument now. You're discussing the stuff in the nomological one, right?
I was discussing the psychophysical harmony.
Oh,
Because I was drawing a parallel, or psychological harmony. Because I was drawing or psychophysical harmony, sorry. I was drawing a parallel between the prioritist move that you could make in the nomological harmony argument to a type of prioritist move you could make in the psychophysical, in responding to the psychophysical. You see what I'm saying? Because like the idea was, in the nomological harmony argument, it seems like you could say, well, what could it actually mean for there to be something that was not in some way constituted by the laws that govern it, right? So like what it means to say that there's an electron is to say that if it exists, it would have these effects in these conditions, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And so like
they would call it the electron roll. Right? They'll use that phrase, that kind of terminology with it. Whatever plays the electron roll just is an electron, because that's what it means to be an electron.
Right. And so the idea is somehow that you could detach the effects from the existence of the thing, right? And so the prioritist response would be like that's just what it means to be an electron, right? Is to have these effects. So you couldn't actually, those two things couldn't come apart. And I was saying that it seemed to me that there might be a similar move available in the psychophysical harmony argument, at least with respect to certain things that they say, like about pain, or maybe more specifically, suffering, right? Because if you think that it's built into the idea of suffering that it's aversive, right, which I guess Sully is saying they grant, right? And so if you think that what it is to say that it's aversive is to say that you have a reason to avoid it, if reasons are things one ought to do, and they're things that it's possible to do, because ought implies can, right? And if they're saying, well, imagine a world where you have reason to do X, but it's not actually possible to do X, right? Then that just seems like violating the ought implies can principle, right?
Yeah, no. I'm just saying that something.
So I'm saying there's like a parallel there with the nomological harmony idea, that there's a kind of prioritist response.
There is, in a certain sense, right? Because remember that what they're in psychophysical harmony, they're basically taking apart the mental states from like the physical or functional states, right? So when they say aversive, they mean functionally aversive, not just like having a reason, right? So it's more like causal than just having a reason. And then the other point is like they do say, the argument doesn't work against type A physicalists, because they do just think that like say for something like pain qualia, that like the functional profile is conceptually constitutive of pain, right? So you can't have one without the other. So that is a kind of like prioritist move. But
that
they
seems
just
like
say,
a very crazy move. Like
right.
I wouldn't
And so,
want to have to. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Like I don't think that. Yeah, I mean, like I don't really have sympathy for that kind of view.
Right. And that's why like all they really need to get it going is to say like, are these conceptually separable? And the type B physicalists agree that they are. So that's why they say like, well, we can at least get the ball rolling on you guys.
Wait, which normative state specifically, Jack, did you use the alt implies canon? Hello?
Oh, sorry. It was he said suffering gives you a
Wait,
reason.
but they don't talk about suffering though. They talk about hedonic, epistemic.
Well, I was just saying that, like, look, pain. The reason why I was talking about, because I want to distinguish between pain and suffering, because sometimes people say that pain is not inherently aversive.
Yeah.
You know, because they talk about these like unusual neurological cases where these people report experiencing pain but say that it's not unpleasant, right?
But you're taking suffering to be an experience.
No, I'm taking suffering to be a normative state that has a necessary phenomenal accompaniment to it.
Do you think it? What if somebody's like financially suffering? Do you think that's just like? Do you think that's just like equivocal?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So you think there is some kind of a phenomenal state of suffering?
Well, I think what I'm trying to say is that normally people treat pain as a sensation, right? And they talk about it as a purely phenomenal state, right? But I'm saying that can't be the right analysis.
No,
well, let's say suffering rather than pain here, right? Because I used to talk about this in terms of pain, saying what would it mean to, like, find something painful but not be motivated to avoid it, right? And so I thought, okay, but then people brought up these neurological cases. So I thought, okay, well then let's switch to suffering, because there it's sort of clearer, the conceptual tie, right? Like, are you really suffering if you're not motivated to avoid it? And so I was just saying that isn't merely a phenomenal state, right? That's a normative state.
Okay, I see.
It's intentional, right? The idea is that it gives you a reason, right? Just in virtue of having that state, you have a reason to avoid it.
Okay, right? I see.
So what I was telling Jack is I think that Hutter also describes pain this way. Like, that's what he's saying as well.
Right, that's fine, right. But now here's the part that we need to resolve or figure out, kind of like. So they're granting me that, right? But then I want to say, okay, and again, I don't know that this much turns on this, because their argument might still survive this objection, right? Because I understand that they talk about a range of different psychophysical harmonies. It's not just about pain or suffering, right? They talk about other psychophysical harmonies. So if that's true, this objection doesn't necessarily go very far to like resisting their argument. But it's still interesting, I think, to consider this point. So I want to say, okay, when you're suffering, you have a reason to avoid that state. And since ought implies can, that means it's possible to avoid it, right? Now, I understand that you're saying that they want to grant that there's a metaphysical possibility there. Okay, so let's just bracket that for the moment, because I need to think about it. Aren't they committed to saying that it's possible that you could have a reason to avoid it? The idea is that there is a law, like a law-like relation. So in other words, at the actual world, the law-like relation is something like that the fact that you're experiencing pain somehow is has a functional connection. Sorry, I got to talk to the store guy for a second. I'll be right back. Sorry, I had to talk to this guy for a second. Wait, let me just try to finish this. I thought the idea was, okay, in our world, the laws are such that, right, suffering states elicit a behavioral response of an aversive kind, right? And I thought what they were imagining was that it was a counterpart world in which the laws have the opposite effect. Something that's a suffering state has an attractive response rather than an aversive response. Now, is that a misunderstanding? Because I've never actually read the Cutter and Crummett paper. I just know there's argument from a couple of videos and talking to people like Mason. Well, just law. I mean, there could be a law-like relation without determinism holding, right? Because you could have statistical laws, or you know what I mean. So I don't think I need determinism for this, but something like maybe I do need determinism. I mean, I need to think about it, but let's just say I'm not sure I need determinism because I may just be talking about something that could be captured by a statistical law. Right? Right, but I'm just saying, okay, like if it does seem like there may be room to resist their argument by saying that they're violating the ought implies can principle. That the ought implies can principle would be violated at that world, right? At this world that they're imagining, right? Well, like, here's a way to think about it.